Hello,
Aloha.
good evening.
Yes.
So this is Wednesday, January 22nd, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been really busy and a lot going on.
hmm Yeah. You probably noticed there was an inauguration. I think you have noticed.
Hi, Nadine. Nadine says hi.
Hello.
And let's see who else is in the chat.
Let's make sure.
Okay, right here. I got it. There we go. Okay. And John Marciano. And we've got a new person, Cold Bolt Lightning 123.
Hello, cold.
He says, "Why eyes wide open? What if you have one eye open and one eye shut?"
Try it.
Let's see, and let's see who else we have. San Diego, hi San Diego. Jane Spitfire, hi Jane. I heard it's cold in Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah. The South is getting particularly cold now. We're cold, but what are we, 10 below?
We had 8 below this morning.
What are we?
Right now?
Were we below now or are we just 10?
Not now, but this morning we were.
Oh, we warmed up.
Let's see, we're actually,
Uh,
we're
seven.
7, a
Seven.
balmy 7. So we didn't go out today. We stayed in and we did work.
Yeah.
Joe went out to get the mail.
Yeah.
Cheryl Lack, 13. Hello from Colorado. Hi, Cheryl. Thank you. She said, you two look great. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Let's see. So, Beverly. Hi, Beverly. Good evening to all. Nice to have you with us, and we appreciate you all coming on. We've, like I said earlier, we've been busy. Um, we've got new ones that have been contacting us. And, oh, Effie Joe says it's hot in Nigeria. Wow.
Oh, boy.
What's
Wow.
the temperature? Let's see. Ruby said, hey guys, it was snowing in Florida.
Oh,
wow.
my goodness. Snowing in Florida.
Ricky Bobby, hi guys.
Hello, Ricky.
So, as everyone starts to come in, we'll welcome everyone. And we've got an interesting show tonight. We've actually have a couple of different, I know the theme is eyes wide open, but we have something on, what is it, PSYOP?
Yeah. Isn't that what it is?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Whatever a PSYOP is, psychological operation. That means an operation on your psychology, on our psychology. We're
Yeah, it's called Manipulation Playbook, the 20 Indicators of Reality Control.
Yeah.
We've got that one. And then, interesting, we have one about, right here, what really happens after your last breath. So that should be interesting.
it's interesting. Something to think about.
We watch a lot of his. His is called Philosophical Essence.
Yeah.
And, really makes you think. Not only does it give the problem in the beginning, but at the end, there's always a solution. There's always things that we can do. So it doesn't leave you in a negative fashion.
No.
Okay.
Because so many things happen to us that, number one, we don't understand. Well, sometimes things happen to us that we don't even know. It can be happening to us. We don't know. Secretly happening to us. Or then something can happen to us and we don't even know what happened to us. It confuses us. And then we know something happens to us. We know exactly what it's done to us, but we don't know what to do. But if we know what to do, we don't know how we're going to get it accomplished. So, I mean, all these things are things that we can deal with as human. We can.
Mm-hmm. Emmerich says it's negative 13 Fahrenheit.
Wow.
Where is Emmerich?
Where are you, Emmerich?
And San Diego says, I'm waiting on some other users to show up so I can complain about the temperatures in San Diego.
There you go.
Well, let's see, we can start with birthdays.
Why don't you do the birthdays?
Okay, for the January birthdays. So here we go. January 4th, Keith Bush. January 5th, Jasmine Hernandez. The 6th, Rita Ivy. The 9th, Andrea Bossert. And Deanna from Just June. And also Christiane. On the 10th, Larry John Wayne and Mark Therquit. The 11th was Tara Lee, Mrs. Bob. And the 13th, Megan Gilman. The 14th, my sister Michelle Malecki. Scott Homan from Witness Underground. And the 16th, Joanne Britt. 18th, Jeffrey Blewett. And the 19th, Penny B. Flowers' daughter, Katrina. The 20th, Alyssa Watson. The 21st, Gigi. Today is Sarah Remold's daughter, Claire. Happy birthday, Claire. And Jake Vaughn. The 23rd is Jerron Benton. He puts out really good videos. We watched one today. The 24th, Ben Riancourt and Kevin Carter. 25th, Hannah Hurto and Mr. CIA's mom. She's going to be 98.
Yeah.
On the 25th.
Yeah.
The 27th, Antonio Samilio. 29th, Aubrey Cruz, Bonnie Zeman, and Steve Blackledge. Also, Jason Basinski, that's his name. The 30th, Randy Davis. And the 31st, Kay Fred and Wally. So those are the birthdays for January.
Yeah. And again, that we missed, we'll announce them.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And let's see, we have some anniversaries. January 2nd was Yvonne and Vinnie Samilia. And the 20th was Apastadude and Mrs. Apastadude on the 20th. So we wish them a happy anniversary. Again, if there's anyone that we missed, please let us know. The 12th, it was our anniversary for 2 years disassociated.
Oh, yeah.
We actually, we were out for a year. It took us a year before we disassociated. I was just thinking of that today. So it's been 2 years now.
So we were PMO for a year, physically out, mentally in which time it really disturbed us, knowing that we no longer believed what was being told. We realized it really wasn't true. No, they were lying. And also, we also knew that they had been historically, way in the very beginning of the organization and right on through, were heavily involved in things that were illegal, immoral, and abusive to people. And now, of course, they've been in the court system and pulling out people who are going to prison. We couldn't stay in. We absolutely could not. We could not support that organization because of that. And our children didn't understand. They may not have known what we knew.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't believe what we told them. If they believed what we told them, they couldn't accept that we wouldn't put up with what was going on because it was God's will or some silly thing like that, and that the governing body was controlling it and had it in full control. We said, no, we don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
No, we really don't.
No.
We couldn't live a lie. It was a lie. We couldn't live it, and we let them know that.
And we know some of you out there are going through that right
Yeah.
now.
We
Hi, Thomas. Nice to see you.
Thomas.
You know, you're in between. You don't want to be in, but if you leave, you may still be young. You may not have enough to support yourself. You're, you know, maybe living with your parents, and you're trying to make that transition. Thank you. Trying to make that transition. So maybe there's something that you'll hear tonight that will
Yeah.
help you. And if you want to come on the show, you're more than welcome. All you have to do is go to the top of the chat and fixing my faith with the HTTPS and tap on that, and Ruby will put you in the chat. So let's see. San Diego said it's about 74 degrees right now. I figure about 7 p.m. it will drop to the high 50s. Well, good for you. Enjoy the warmth. Let's see where. Happy birthday. Cold Polt said, happy birthday, January babies, from Ruby Quinn. And Sky, when is your birthday? Well, she wants to let us know in the comments. We wanted to send out some positive thoughts to, we mentioned it last week, but we're always in our thoughts of Celeste in California, Linda Egan in Virginia, Nancy Sardo in Pennsylvania, and of course Debbie's recovering, and Vern. Maybe we'll get some information about Vern, because Shauna was supposed to be, she's on her way back home, so we'll get some more information
and
about
everyone
Vern.
else is going through difficulties that we don't know. You're suffering, you're going through difficulty, you're struggling. We are mindful of that, so share it as you will.
Hello, Maverick. Glad to see you here. Thank you for joining. So,
what I'm going to do before we have the videos is just throw out some concepts which generally we didn't have to deal with when we were involved in that organization, the Watchtower. Now, because we're out, or because we're contemplating getting out, we're faced with something. We're faced with things we were never faced with before. And just think about these, just words and the concept, but think about these things. A plan. Did you have to plan very much when you were in? All the planning was done for you. How about risks? Were there any risks we really had to take? There really weren't any risks. No. How about struggle? Now, if you're going to make a plan, and if you're going to take the risks, then you're going to have to struggle with the unknown and uncertainty. And you're going to have to make, we're all going to have to make, and we are making achievements, because achievements come along with all those things we just mentioned, achievements. And with those achievements come insight, something we didn't have before that. And insights help us know the way forward. And that inspires us. It inspires others. We inspire each other in the process of doing all these things. And that leads to, well, fulfillment and meaning in our lives. We need that. We need to be fulfilled. That's what our time alive is for, is to be fulfilled. And we feel our life is meaningful at that point, without leaving it up to someone else, because it's our life, not someone else's life. It's our life. So to all that are embracing that and choosing to accept that role of their life, we're here together supporting each other. We don't do it alone. No one does it alone. We don't do it alone. You won't do it alone. You don't have to. You can't do it alone. So let's be open to these things and share going through them. What do you have next?
Well, we can show one of the videos. We have a video on the what to plan for our death. It's really not morbid. It's really kind of thoughtful.
You want to do that first or the other one first?
Or the psyop. You say. What do you think would be appropriate?
Well, let's think of the psyop. Yeah. See what a psyop is. Yeah.
If this is the end, if the stars fall and the earth it begins to bend.
The intelligent minorities can engineer consent through the use of manipulation, propaganda, and control. And we should do it.
People have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
We're in the midst of a serious financial crisis, and the federal government is responding with decisive action.
I know that the American people share my deep belief that if a danger exists in the world, it is a danger shared by all.
We need to actually double down on the public health measures.
You can't look at that television and say, nothing happened on the 6th.
I'd like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to you. You're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
If this is the end.
Most people have no awareness of how easily our behavior and even our identity can be completely taken over. But people are waking up. I spent 20 years in the U.S. military. I'm a behavior expert. I've trained psyops. I'm the best-selling author in behavioral psychology. I want to show you exactly how to identify what we call engineered reality, or what some people call psyops. At the end of this, I'm going to give you a tool that's literally going to give you a score out of 100. It shows you how likely something is to be a psyop. Let's do this. So the first thing you need to know is following the FATE model: focus, authority, tribe, and emotion. This is what triggers the mammalian part of our brain that makes all of our real decisions. The first part is focus. Psyops always aim to hijack your attention with repetition, shocking visuals of fear-inducing scenarios. Some examples are like 24/7 media coverage of a crisis, or constant repetition of terms like unprecedented. So with this, pause and ask, why is this message being pushed so aggressively? So compare how much airtime different stories are receiving and note any disproportionate focus. The second part here is authority. Trusted figures might shift their tone or positions unnaturally to support the narrative. So watch very closely for expert panelists or endorsements where authority figures might speak outside of their expertise. Pay close attention to that one. Then we have tribe. So messages that polarize opinions will create stark in-groups versus out-groups or exploit our tribal instincts. For example, labeling groups as patriots versus traitors or scientific versus deniers. Be very careful when you hear that language. Finally, we have emotion. So be wary of any communication that triggers strong emotions like fear, hope, or outrage without any clear, verifiable evidence. So emotional responses suppress critical thinking. Emotional responses suppress critical thinking. So as a tip here, analyze the evidence that's presented to you. If facts are replaced by appeals to emotion, you need to be very cautious. As an example of this, think about like a news channel repeatedly showing images of empty grocery shelves and panicked shoppers during a food supply scare. It dominates every broadcast and it pushes people into fear-driven behavior. Next, question novelty. Our brains are wired to focus on sudden or unusual changes because they signal potential threats or opportunities. And this is an evolutionary survival mechanism. PsyOps exploit this by creating events that break normal expectations, like unexpected crises or dramatic revelations. So ask yourself, why is this new? So consider if the event or somebody's message has been artificially manufactured or timed. Look for patterns like sudden shifts in public opinion, trending hashtags that are unusual, or viral videos that seem very coincidental. So for this one, just picture a new viral video just claims to expose a government cover-up, but it conveniently comes out the exact same day that there's some damaging evidence against some high-ranking official. The timing shifts public focus. All of this is part of the NCI system I developed for teaching tradecraft and extreme psychological operations. And there's even a gigantic textbook for all of this stuff in the description. Definitely not for everybody, but it's definitely the most comprehensive guide in the world on this stuff. So next item, look for multiple sources. Centralized narratives create an echo chamber, and they silence dissent and they narrow perspectives. For example, if all media outlets present identical talking points, it is a humongous red flag. So actively seek out contrarian or independent voices, even if they challenge something that's already in your head. So in reality, an example, during a maybe breaking health crisis, all the major news outlets report on the exact same study, but independent researchers revealed the study was funded by a company selling the solution. So watch for that group speak. Next is identify cognitive dissonance weapons. Let's talk about how this works. So cognitive dissonance comes up when new information clashes with our identity or our beliefs. So PsyOps exploit the hell out of this by including micro agreements. Micro agreements are little, small, seemingly harmless concessions to shape your identity. And over time, you're going to unconsciously align your behavior to reduce that internal conflict. And as a weaponization example of this, a PsyOp might present you as a part of moral or intelligent enlightenment, like only good citizens do XYZ. If you disagree with that, you risk some identity conflict there. So reflect on your identity and ask, am I being nudged to identify with some other group? So be very careful of any campaigns that are asking for seemingly minor commitments there, like signing petitions, changing your profile picture that evolves into some bigger compliance or demand later. As an example of this, let's say a company launches an ad campaign and they claim real patriots buy local. If you disagree with their product, it feels like rejecting your identity as a patriot. So this pushes you to conform. Be very, very skeptical about those identity statements. Next is looking for those emotional scripts. And what I mean by this is the scripts that were written in our brains by our ancestors. So manipulated narratives trigger instincts like the fear of loss or scarcity, social rejection, or danger. For example, a media story about food shortages might activate survival scripts that cause panic buying and stuff like that. And we have scarcity fear. This is sudden warnings about limited resources like water or medicine also sparks that kind of behavior. And then we have tribal rejection. These are threats of being socially outcast, like you're selfish if you don't comply. And those things override logic every time. And as a tip for this, break the script by focusing on the facts. Like, what's the likelihood of this scenario? So compare the claims with other sources. For this, just picture where a politician says something like, if we don't act now, our children will not have a future. This taps into survival instincts, those ancestor scripts in our head, and it's tied to protecting offspring. It creates urgency without any facts. Next is follow the money. So there's a trail of beneficiaries here. So identifying who benefits always is going to reveal the motive. So look for funding sources like sponsorships or political connections that are tied to the narrative. So use tools like opensecrets.org or public financial records to see who profits from this. So for policies or campaigns, identify the industries like pharmaceuticals, tech companies, etc., that stand to gain the most. So to illustrate this in your mind right now, picture a charity that's promoting clean energy awareness, and they seem noble until an investigations are showing that it's funded by a solar panel corporation that's lobbying for subsidies or something like that. Next, and this one is very important, is analyze the context boundary. The mechanism here is context, and context defines what is permissible. So manipulative people shift contexts to normalize extreme behavior. As an example of this, in emergencies, people accept surveillance or martial law that they normally would completely resist. So ask, what is the context? Compare some similar events in different settings to see if the rules or responses seem disproportionate. Look for contradictions. So for lots of the students who are brand new to NCI University, this right here is the most massive realization when they realize that the ability to weaponize cognitive dissonance and then shift the context can get anyone to do almost anything. As a hypothetical example of this, let's say there's a major cyber attack. The governments are now justifying some sweeping surveillance laws to protect the citizens. This changes the context to make previously unacceptable actions seem absolutely necessary. Next, spot the use of archetypes because they're woven into our brains. PsyOps simplify narratives by using archetypes like heroes and villains and saviors. Some examples are like portraying one leader as the sole solution or demonizing dissenters as the enemy. Deconstruct the story. Ask, who are the characters and what roles are they playing? Simplistic, like good versus evil stories usually signal manipulation just about every time. So always seek nuance there. In the real world, you're going to see something like maybe a leader is repeatedly portrayed as a savior fighting something that's pure evil, and the narrative ignores their mistakes and oversimplifies the conflict to prevent a lot of scrutiny. Next, evaluate the frame. So let's do a step-by-step evaluation here. First one is expectation. What are you expected to believe or do based on this thing that you're exposed to in the media? Next is belief. What assumptions are being made about you, like your values or your fears? Then we have perception. So how is reality being shaped, like selective facts or missing contexts? And definition is the final step here when it comes to a frame. What truth is being asserted as something that's completely unchallengeable? This comes up with information suppression. So really look for topics that are being avoided, critics that are being silenced. If somebody needs to be silenced in order for an idea to make it, then the idea is not good. So alternative viewpoints being discredited, that's a big one to look out for. So cross-check timelines of events and notice if critics are labeled conspiracists or if algorithms are suppressing some kind of specific search. And this is a big one, especially in today's time. So to get a good example of this, during maybe a corporate scandal, the company's PR team frames these critics as disgruntled employees with a grudge. So this shifts the focus away from the legitimate concerns to the motives of the critics. And it does it almost without us realizing that that's happening in our brain. So next, be alert to rapid compliance shifts. This one is scary and it's happening every day. PSYOPs create urgency to drive rapid compliance. And these tactics are stuff like emotional appeals, staged group behaviors, or false consensus. For this, it's really important to slow down and resist the pressure to act, to question the conformity as much as possible, and test the message, engaging the skeptics there. So in the real world, this might look like maybe a viral social media challenge urges all these users to adopt this brand new symbol or profile picture or hashtag kind of overnight, and it creates a wave of compliance. So later, this is kind of like a foot in the door technique. It's tied to some divisive political agenda. Next, study the timing of the events, and this one's huge, especially right now. Timing is everything. Ask yourself, why is this happening now? So what other events or scandals might this thing be distracting everybody from? So look for very coincidental timing with unrelated major news stories or political movements. PSYOPs can very often be smoke screens. And in real life, you might see stuff like a huge celebrity breakup floods all of the headlines exactly as some major investigative report about government corruption is about to be released. Coincidence? Probably not. The next thing I want you to do is to sharpen your brain to start hearing and understanding these manipulation tactics. And one of the biggest things that you can do, the most effective way that I could train you right now, just you and me, is to teach your brain to recognize logical fallacies. So let's go through these, because PSYOPs very often use these flawed arguments to convince people. And if you know how to spot them, it makes you a lot harder to manipulate. Let me give you 10 of these so that your brain gets hardwired to start seeing everything a whole lot differently. So the first one that you're going to see all the time, appeal to emotion. So this uses fear and anger and hope to bypass logic. So like, if you don't support this, children are going to suffer. Next is the straw man argument. This misrepresents somebody's argument so they can attack it better. So somebody might say they oppose the lockdowns because they don't care about lives. Think about that one. Number 3 is the bandwagon fallacy. So this claims that something is true because everyone supports it. And this is, you hear this all the time. Millions of people agree with X, Y, and Z. You should agree with it too. Number 4 is the false dilemma. This presents only 2 extreme options and it ignores alternatives. So it's the either you're with us or you're against us fallacy there. Number 5 is the ad hominem attacks. This is the attack of the person and not the argument. Be very observant for this. So this is when you hear you can't trust her. She's not a scientist. You can't do X because they're not qualified based on X. Ad hominem is very common, and I want your brain to be able to spot it. Number 6 is appeal to authority. And this is a claim that something is true because an authority figure said so. So like Dr. X supports it, so it's absolutely right. You have to trust the science. Number 7 is the slippery slope. These are claims that one action is going to lead to some extreme negative outcome. So you've heard this before. Somebody says something like, if we allow this, we're going to lose all of our freedoms. All of our freedoms are gone. The country is gone. All of that kind of talk like that. Be very attuned to when you hear that and very cautious when you hear that. Number 8, hasty generalizations. And these are broad claims that are made with very little evidence. So the example is 2 politicians lied, so all of them must be corrupt. So giant claim, tiny bit of evidence. 2 politicians might have lied, so they're all corrupt. Number 9 is huge. It's the red herring. So this distracts people with irrelevant information. You've heard this maybe as an example when somebody says, why are we worrying about climate change when we have so much crime going on right now? It's an argument of distraction. Number 10 is false equivalence. This compares 2 things as equals when they're absolutely not equal. So you'll hear somebody say something in the news that's both sides have extremists, so they're exactly the same. That's a very damaging one. I know there's a lot of information here, so I want to give you access to the actual tool that we use to identify PSYOPs that even rates the likelihood on a 1 to 100 scale. I'm going to add that into the description right below this video. But keep this in mind. Throughout history, the people who stood tallest in the storm were not the ones who knew all the answers. They were the ones who asked the right questions. They weren't the loudest voices. They were the calmest. They were the people that had composure. Thanks for spending some time with me. One love.
Is very common, and I want your brain to be able to spot it. Number 6 is appeal to authority. And this is a claim that something is true because an authority figure said so. So like Dr. X supports it, so it's absolutely right. You have to trust the science. Number 7 is the slippery slope. These are claims that one action is going to lead to some extreme negative outcome. So you've heard this before. Somebody says something like, if we allow this, we're going to lose all of our freedoms. All of our freedoms are gone. The country is gone. All of that kind of talk like that. Be very attuned to when you hear that.
I can get
very
the water
cautious.
hotter.
Number 8, hasty generalizations. And these are broad claims that are made with very little evidence. So the example is 2 politicians lied, so all of them must be corrupt. So giant claim, tiny bit of evidence. 2 politicians might have lied, so they're all corrupt. Number 9 is huge. It's the red herring. So this distracts people with irrelevant information.
Hey, Joe and Fran, the video ended for us already.
Somebody says, why are we worrying about...
Okay. Okay. Yep, we're here.
Okay, just wanted to let you know. All right.
Okay. So
what happened?
that was the end of the video.
Okay. We're back. Can we hear? Can people hear us? Just
let us know in the chat.
Someone let us know.
Yes.
Thank
okay.
you.
Thank
Good.
you.
So, psychological operation. Just a little background. The word government literally means mind control. The control of our minds. In other words, that's the way the government controls us, through our minds. Now, in another government, in another time, the king or emperor or whoever the head guy was, they would control through force, physical force, physical threat of pain and suffering or death. Do it or you die. Or maybe at the tip of a spear, they had the king's men march into a village of people, and they'd march in on their horses, and then they'd roust everybody together, and they'd get them down on their knees, and they'd make an example out of somebody. It'd scare the daylights out of everybody, put them in absolute fear, and from then on, everybody was afraid of the king, and they would comply because they didn't want to get hurt. Or they would take their daughters for the king if they wanted their daughters or their sons to work for the king. They didn't ask the people, they just took them. Wow, how can they do that? Well, they can do that because they have force and power and greed, and they don't love you. They control you. That's the government. Government controls you, us, through our minds. And they do that through the media because they've got to get to our minds somehow. No more newspaper. We used to read the newspaper. Maybe some still read a newspaper. But now it's whatever media we have, our computers, our devices. And the media, which works very hard day and night to keep a constant stream of propaganda, propagating all this information directed to our brains, to our minds. And it does it through just some of the ways that man indicated. and see, they know the rules. They know us better than we know ourselves. It's just like it's a game. If anyone's ever played a game, which you have, I'm sure. Let's say a card game. And someone says, hey, there's a card game. Why don't you come and play with us? It's fun. You'll enjoy it. Oh, I never played it before. Oh, yeah, it's okay. You got to kick in some money, though. So, oh, okay. So you kick in some money. And others put in their money. And the thing, it goes to the game, the hands go on, and others are winning money. They're winning your money. Well, say, don't worry, you'll catch on eventually. You know, you'll get your money back. You'll get your money back. You can even win big. Oh, yeah, I got to, because I'm losing. Well, you're losing because you don't know the rules, and they know all the rules. They also know your moves and how you're going to respond much better than you even know them yourself. Well, that's exactly the way the government acts. The government knows us psychologically, emotionally, infinitely better than we know ourselves. Now, some know themselves better than others. It's true. It's really true. Some have better self-awareness than others because they've studied. They studied the human animal, where animals were human. Well, there's a way the human animals behave and are motivated. Well, one's like the Watchtower, which is also a government, incidentally.
Theocratic?
And that's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they say. They say it's theocratic, whatever that's supposed to mean. It's government. They govern. They govern by fear and control and through your minds in the most nefarious, evil, secretive, unfair way. And if you don't know how they go about it, they're going to trick you in thinking, well, it's this, it's not that. We love you. Oh, we love you so much. While they're sticking a knife in your back or something similar. And you end up realizing, oh my God, they've stolen everything from me. Why didn't I know that? Because you didn't know that. And they knew you didn't know that. Well, we're at the point now in history where people were ignorant on a grand scale, but then they started going to school, to going to high school. People didn't used to go to high school before. They used to go right into the workforce. But then, oh, you got to get a high school education. Well, they got high school education. Well, unfortunately, the high school education is just the education that they wanted people to have so that they could become good workers. Good workers. We want good workers, the government says. You be a good worker and you can get money and then you can live. Oh, okay, great. But in the meantime, they don't let us find out about ourselves the way they're going to manipulate us. No. They don't want you to know that. Yet a few do. A few go on and they learn. And they may not be able to even help others because others are not going to listen to them. They don't believe them. Or it's like, oh, that's ridiculous. I don't believe that. But then finally more and more catch on and they start to realize, you know, I see what they're doing. We see. Now we see. We're wise to their tricks. No, we know. Well, see, now they know. The government knows that we know. So now it's going to get even more nasty. Because they're going to start doing things right in front of our faces. Bold. They're going to lie right to your face. Right to your face. And probably we're going to believe it. We're probably going to believe it because we're that way. You know, we tend to be believers. You know, in other words, if someone told us something, we wouldn't say, oh, you're a liar. No, we're honest-hearted. We expect to be believed. So, well, I would then be expected to believe you, because that's the honest-hearted thing to do, to speak truth and to expect someone is speaking truth. Only thing, they don't speak the truth. That's one of their rules. The government's rules is we don't speak the truth. I saw a bumper sticker once, and it said, "Don't lie. The government hates competition." They're masters at it. They're masters at it. And if you don't realize that, just observe them. Observe what goes on. The people who in government that state things and then find out, oh my God, well, that didn't turn out the way they said. And you find out, oh, you mean it was really something else? Oh yeah, you mean something else was going on in the background while they were saying this at the same time? Well, that's dishonest. Yeah, but that's the way they behave. That's it. It's like the rules of the game are cheat. And they know how to cheat. You don't know how to cheat, but they know how to cheat. And you're the one who's cheated. We're the one who's cheated, basically. Why do they do that? Well, that's a good question. Why do they do that? Well, now here, some would say, oh, no, Joe, you're too cynical. Too cynical. You can't go on thinking that they do that to you. That's no way to approach things. It's like, well, okay, fine. You can believe everything they say. Just like when you entered into the watchtower, I mean, did you believe everything they said? Well, your baptism must have proved it. I mean, at least you showed it through your baptism. I showed it through mine. I did too. But maybe in the back of your mind, you thought, maybe I'll go along with it. I'll go along with it. Well, and they knew that we would go along with it, because they knew that it was like a contract that you make for something that you want, that they're going to lock you into because they know you want it and they got it. You're not going to get it unless you do what they want, because they've got it and you don't. So it's I need all these things. Oh, they got it and they're going to give it and I just got to comply. Okay. Well, they know that. That's very imbalanced. Because, see, in the case of us, we didn't have much to offer except being a slave, a willing, good-for-nothing slave. Oh, wow. Why would I want to be a willing, good-for-nothing slave? Well, because I'm going to get something special that I want. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Oh, yeah. Don't ever forget, Joe. The government's the same way. It's just the way it is. Because they have to control millions of people. Think about that. You don't have to control millions of people. All you have to control is yourself. Maybe you got to help your family be in control. The government has millions of people to control. Do you think they're going to use some heavy-handed, really sophisticated means to control millions of people? You bet they are. Oh, you bet they are. And they are. And they have. And they will continue for as long as there's governments. Because that's what governments do. They mind control. And they don't bother asking you what you want. They don't. They tell you what you want. They tell me what I want. Oh, wait a minute. How can they tell me what I want? Well, they explained it. They can start working on my mind and my desires to show me, well, now, Joe, wouldn't you want this?
That's what they say.
Look, everyone else wants it. Why wouldn't you want it? Oh, come on. Everyone wants it. Oh, aren't you a friend of those other people? Well, they want it for you and you don't want it. Everyone wants this. Okay. That's just one of the sneaky weaselly tricks that they have to manipulate you. They have no respect for you, me, or anyone around you. They have no respect for you or us as individuals. They do not have respect. They do not. They get what they want. If they don't get what they want, we get what we don't want from them. And they make sure of that. They make absolutely sure of that. We want money, we'll do what they say. You don't do what they say, you're not going to get money. Maybe you're going to get arrested. Maybe you're going to get penalized. Maybe you're going to have to pay a fine. Maybe you're just going to be looked at as disloyal, ungrateful, bad citizen, or whatever. This is what we're up against. And psyops are the way that we experience something through the media or in daily life. You don't have to have the media. Let's say people just went to Walmart, for example, and all of a sudden Walmart started doing some really strange things like everybody line up here to get in. Come this way, stand 6 feet apart. Yep. Don't get any closer than 6 feet and wear your mask. Holy smokes, what happened? Now, see,
It was like overnight.
That's not just media. Now that's in real life. This is an experience they're being put through. Oh my, do you think you're going to feel from that? You bet you're going to. Remember what you felt like when, where's your mask? You weren't wearing your mask and someone looked at you. Maybe you did that. Maybe you looked at someone and said, where's your mask? Because if you don't wear your mask, you're going to die or you're going to kill me. Well, how'd you get that? Where did that come from? Yeah, where did that come from? It came from somewhere. Someone implanted that in my brain and your brain and your brain. And some of us accepted it, others didn't.
When you get a chance,
I got a chance.
Shauna would like to come on. And,
yes.
And also, I think we have two chats going here. We have Fixing My Faith. So if you're on Fixing My Faith chat, just go to the link at the top so you can come on. And the other one might be Ruby's channel. Ricky Bobby said great points tonight. Yeah, if anybody wants to come on, whether you're in Fixing My Faith or I think it's Ruby's channel, just come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, Shauna.
Hi, Shauna.
How
Hello,
are you?
guys.
How
I'm
are
good,
you?
thank you.
And
can you hear me okay?
We can hear you well.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Sound check, good. Well, thank you. Thank you, Ruby, for being backstage tonight. I appreciate it. I wasn't here. Just a quick update. You guys know Vern's been ill the last week and a bit now. We're going on, today's like day 12. So we brought him in this morning to the emergency at 5 a.m, figuring we'd beat the rush. And then I kept messaging Joe and Fran saying 2 hours, still waiting, 4 hours, still waiting. But I left there at 2 p.m. this afternoon and he was being treated. His illness just spun off complications and his kidneys actually were not working. So they had pumped over 1.5 liters of fluid from him in like 10 minutes. Well, by the time they got him on a gurney. So he was comfortable without painkillers when I left him. So the internist is going to be stopping by and letting us know. Now they're just going to, because there was so much creatine in his system, now they're going to watch that the kidneys don't try to shoot off into action. They want everything to come back on board slowly and steadily. So he's got a few minutes of observation, but he's so lucky because the BC student nurses were on the floor today. So I left him with 7 little cuties running and hiding in hot blankets and getting him this and that. So he was pretty happy. So
tough life.
It was just good. No, so it's just all's well that ends well. This lady doctor happened to say, let's do a blood test, and that's what caught it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Shauna,
Oh, thank you, Eric. Yeah. Yeah,
Shauna,
it's been
Shauna, and that's why Vern calls
Yep.
you my good wife.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, well,
That's
not
why
just that. Yeah, but
thank you. Yes.
oh
you are.
yeah, no, it's I'm just happy that he's with the people that can help him most, and you know,
Absolutely.
one treatment 10 minutes later and lots of relief. So cross your fingers. So Ruby, he won't be here for the News Friday. Even if he is here, I've already told him he's not allowed to. He really wanted to, but I said no, sorry. So I said the ladies can do it. Ruby's got it. Don't worry about it. But yeah,
Jane,
but
I
it's
think
really nice.
Jane asked if there's the way that we could send him a card.
Let me think about that over the next few minutes and before the end of the show, because I can bring stuff in. Let me great idea, Jane. Let me figure that out. So for sure. And thrifty high.
Yeah.
Sorry?
How far is the hospital? How far from your home?
It's like 58 minutes. So I mean, it's so beautiful too. It's like it's crazy. We started in Vernon, which is right at the north end of BC's Okanagan, where all the cherries and all the peaches grow, because it's oh gosh, it's beautiful. I get why people come here for winter. We're having a dream winter here. Like we haven't had one. So I left this morning to no snow down in the valley and drove 3,000 feet back up the mountain in an hour. But I mean, it's gorgeous. Like I've never had such a spectacular drive. So as long as I can make it in the daylight, because I don't really like the mountains at night.
Yeah.
But, hey, we're good.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but no, I'm so grateful. It's a smaller center too, Vernon. It's a fraction of the city size that Edmonton was. So it's just so personable there. And yeah. So we'll see, hopefully. Yeah, a few days. And like I said, that's it. But,
great.
Wow.
Good
Thank you. Thank you for coming on and filling us in.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank everybody for being here. And again, Ruby and all the moderators. And I love you all. And I'll be watching in the back. So yeah, thanks guys.
Love you.
Love you.
Thank you, Shauna, for coming on.
Well, I can go on all night, but I'm not going to. I'd like to know where you're at with this, because personally, I was exposed to PSYOPs for 72 years. And I mean that. My entire life, I've been exposed to PSYOPs. Initially, I didn't quite understand it. I understand it better now than I ever did. I will say something before I stop talking. My father worked for the government his whole life, basically. And he made it very clear that the government lies. That's all there is to it. The government lies. They'll say one thing, they're doing another. It was frustrating deeply, but he stuck with it because they paid him. He was able to make a living, and that's how they do it. They pay you. And my grandmother, from my early years, when I was watching television, she was there. We were watching television together. I was young, little. We'd hear something on television from the news or whatever, propaganda-ish. She'd look at me with a disgusted look on her face, and she said, "Do you believe that? Do you believe that?" It's like, whoa, I don't know, Grandma. I guess I don't know. From that day on, it's like, I don't know about believing that. It may not be believable. So the things they tell us, we have to listen. But maybe we shouldn't believe them.
So just as an example of what they were talking about, and if anyone wants to come on, please, we don't want to just do all the talking.
No.
I remember that when 9/11 happened, and we did have a TV at the time, and it was like constantly repeating
Over
and
and
over. And
over.
they wanted to make sure we got that impression in our mind
Oh boy.
of the Twin Towers and what happened, and
Oh,
it's on fire and it's falling,
It
and
had
the
an
people.
it affected me.
And it's something
The
that
grief.
you know exactly where you were when it happened, what you were doing, you know, the time of day, and that's the lasting impression. So they do that with those kinds of things. They do that with things that we're not even aware of.
Yeah.
You know, why was I thinking that? Or why do I want to buy this? Hi, Eric.
Hello, Eric.
Hey, how are you all?
Good.
If I could just add,
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, there you go.
by psyops, it's just that I agree with that. Like, we were lied to from the moment we were born, and I'm probably not the only one that feels this way, or somebody else has probably already thought or expressed this, publicly. But if you think about it, from the moment that we're born, we're taught about the tooth fairy and Santa Claus, right?
Yeah. Easter Bunny.
And it's a lie. Easter Bunny, all that. It's all lies. But it's not that it's evil, that the lie in itself. It's that it's preparing us for lies in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's conditioning us to accept lies, like Jehovah's Witnesses, like Catholics, like Baptists. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not just knocking all religions. I don't want to lead. There's a lot of religious-based things or political-based things that are, I keep saying based, but based on lies or founded on lies. And we're accepted to, or we're taught to accept those lies at a young age. And I guess it makes sense that that I'm an activist for the truth, or the best of my ability, and reject the lies, because just for the I don't know, the irony of it. I guess for I'm losing my thought. Sorry.
Okay.
What I was trying to say is, it's just bizarre to be on the other side, to have thought that you had the truth, right? We were raised in the truth all these years or decades, and for it to not be the truth, the furthest thing from it. But that's what we were raised on, is to accept the lie. And I just find it's liberating, I guess, once you can see that. And what I was going to say is, I guess it's ironic that I end up being somebody who is an activist for the truth, because when I was a kid, I got sent into the principal's office at a very young age. I don't know, I was like 7 or 8, and I told everybody that Santa Claus was bullshit. I told everybody it was a lie, that everybody was lying to us, and because of the Jehovah's Witness background. But like, my mother, Eric, you can't go telling people that. Oh, okay.
Perfect.
But once I learned a truth about something, I was like, I couldn't help. I screamed to the mountaintops.
That's right.
Anyways, that's my 2 cents, guys. You got a great topic tonight.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, Dinah Lost.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hi, Dinah.
Yeah, this is a great topic tonight. I mean, I'm coming out of the organization with my dark years of kind of being in between, not knowing that I was raised in a cult, and observing the opposite side in the politics, and because the family I married into is very political. So, finding out the different things and tactics that the organization used, I'm like, but wait, they're doing it too. And they're doing it, and they're doing it, and they're doing it. And it's like, oh crap.
Everyone's doing it.
Like, from everything that we buy, everything is conditioned, and we know it. Like, commercials are designed for that purpose. It's visual training for you to go into the grocery store and then go, oh yeah, I want to try that. But you want to try it because you saw it before. You know, something you would never even think of getting.
Dinah, I gotta tell you one other thing my grandmother told me that bears that. She would say, if you never heard it or saw it, it would never bother you.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you hear it and as soon as you see it, now, gotcha. It's gotcha. They know that. And they know that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So we have to be careful what they put it in front of us. Now what?
Right.
Now what? You know? And this is where we need to know ourselves and be aware.
And I feel like a lot of people, you know, look at this and they're like, oh yeah, that's them doing that. And they don't look at like what they're trapped in.
That's right.
And they're doing the same thing. And I'm like, you guys, they're doing it this way in this color and they're doing it in that color, but it's the same evil.
Yeah.
Like it's the same monster.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. Look, and I'm gonna come to Rutherford's defense. That man said something that was very valuable, and he said that religion is a snare and a racket. And unfortunately, they proved both of those things. He told us ahead of time. He told us it's precisely what they did. They snared people, and they're still running a racket.
A broken clock is right twice a day, right, Joe?
I like that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the clock repair.
Nice.
Hello, Annie.
Hi, Joe and Fran. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I was busy for a little bit, but I'm here.
Yes, thank you, Dinah. Thank you for your thoughts. Don't go away.
I'm here. I was just going to chit chat for a minute. I'd come over here and say hi. I've been on for a while, so I thought I'd come on.
I'm glad. Nice to hear you.
Yeah, I want to hear what you have, Annie, but just want to throw something out there. So all of us at some degree are a little more aware than we were before.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the point, is that we're all at a different point. So some are much more aware, some are a little bit more aware, some are in between aware. And because of that, now we're not all on the same page. Whereas in Watchtower, we would all be on the literal same page. Now we're all at different points on this journey of awareness. What effect does that have? What challenge does that put in front of us?
Well, as far as the PSYOP is concerned, I was aware of this, of course, a while back, but not too long ago that I began to understand what a PSYOP is, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric's point is very well made, that from the time we're children, we're lied to and preparing us to accept lies. I hadn't thought about that before. That's a very good point. But his story reminded me of one that I could tell when my son was in elementary school. Of course, I was raising him a witness. And there's two twin girls in his class, and I think it was their father passed away. And this is elementary school. And they were talking about their father being in heaven. And my son told him, "No, your father's not in heaven."
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I got a call from the nurse's office. And how he had, I mean, they were obviously very upset. Want to make light of what happened to those girls, but but there you go, speaking out about what you know, what you believe, what you think you know. But he was just defending the truth, if you will.
Of course.
But yeah.
Well, now with that in mind, now us as a group now, ExJWs, everyone's at a different level or different point of being aware of what's going on. Do you think everyone has the same amount of insight as to the lies?
No,
And
no,
or what
that's a
effect?
progression of learning.
Okay. Well, what effect does that have? Is it having? It's having.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it does seem as though there's some rifts that occur in the XJW community
Oh, yeah.
for
Bound to
various
happen.
reasons, and I don't quite understand it, except that, well, you got to remember where we came from. That's part of it, and I think that we suffer somewhat with the idea that we have to be right. We have all the answers. I think that's a hangover, if you will, from being raised a witness. So it does. I think that in itself creates some rifts, and who knows what all the causes are. But
There's a principle, and this is an old principle, that any groups that form, they always subdivide.
yeah, yep, that's true.
There's a reason for that. It's because they're made up of individuals. Originally, they had all the same mind and the same goal and the same purpose. But then, because everybody's a different individual, what happens?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we take a slightly different course. We have a slightly different perception. We take on more information, so we adjust our beliefs. And consequently, you start dividing out. It's normal. It's human nature. It's literally human nature. And see, that's the reason why Watchtower worked so hard at keeping people on the same page.
Unity.
Because they knew people would separate out.
Yeah.
And it's the same goes for
One thing that to go along with what you guys are all saying, and I think it all is cohesive together, is that it's always important to grow and to learn from one another. Like for an example, if you think if in a trade or in any aspect of life, if you think you're done learning, you are unwise. If you can learn from, say, in my situation, from an 18-year-old that taught me a trick in auto body, and I said, "Oh, that's really smart. I can't believe you came up with that. Wow!" And acknowledge that, commend the person for it, and learn from it, and share it with others. That's how we grow as a society, and that's how we grow as people. But Jehovah's Witnesses don't do that. They're not taught to self-reflect. They're taught that they're good because it's a narcissistic religion. Oh, I'm good. I'm just gonna, Christ is gonna accept me for being a Jehovah's Witness, a loyal Jehovah's Witness. But it doesn't. Life doesn't work like that. Never mind the spirit realm.
Well, no, Eric, see, the Watchtower was being very practical, just like Pharaoh would have been very practical if he knew how to keep his slaves together. He didn't.
Mm-hmm.
See, Watchtower knew we got to keep these people under our control. These are our slaves. We've got to do everything we can to keep them for our use. And they did. They did. We stayed together. We built their organization. We built their buildings, pushed their publications, and made them very rich. And it wouldn't have happened if we started splitting off because of differences. They knew that. They knew that it was practical, very practical on their point. They needed to keep the slaves together, and they did. They did, until we got wise. Until they got corrupt, and we found out. And that's what happens with all governments as well. They get corrupt as well.
And I just wanted to say that, see, because you guys, Joe and Fran, didn't give up on learning. When you learned the truth, you fled from Watchtower because you were able to adapt to your new understanding of what was going on, and the same for myself, and the same for anybody else that took in new information instead of being stubborn and I guess you could say willfully ignorant.
Yeah. Well, see, that's a personal value that a person maintains, and we all have some personal values, and that's what makes us who we are. And that's the point here, is that if we live up and maintain our personal values, then we are living truth. Otherwise, if we don't live up to our personal values, we're not being truthful. We're not living truthfully. So we're living a lie. And so, you have to ask yourself, well, am I being truthful? Never mind, is that the truth? The real question is, am I being truthful to myself?
Well, see, some of us were given our values. We were told what our values were. So we weren't, at least for me, I didn't listen to myself because everything that I thought ended up being wrong, even to the point of, when I was a victim, I was still wrong.
I know.
So it was, you didn't have values. You had their values.
Dinah, they made sure that you felt that you were wrong. You were playing right into their hands. And I mean, you didn't purposely do that. They made you feel that way.
And see, that's the test for everybody. Eric, you're going to say something? Oh, okay. I can't hear you.
He just put his video on.
Okay.
I was just saying hi.
Okay. See, that's the test, Dinah. Everyone's tested, and depending on what degree of grief that they put up with, basically determines their value, how much they value themselves and their personal values. And so some would be tested up until their death, and it's like, no, it's not that my values aren't that important to me. I'll keep accepting the values that you place on me. I value those more. Whereas someone else would say, no way, man. I value personal integrity. I will uphold mine and not yours. And that's the difference in people.
Yep.
That is the difference in people.
And it's a weird way to look at yourself when you're halfway through your life and you're like, oh, you mean I can what I think and what I say might be okay to say out loud.
Yeah, I know. See, that's a discovery. And in all fairness, some discover that later in life. Some never discover it. Never. If we discover it, be thankful. Because some never. Some are going to die and never discover it.
And that's sad.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, you can only hope that they are happy slaves. I mean, I'm not, but you can only hope that they're happy slaves.
Hello, E. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello, E.
We
Hi,
heard you
everyone.
Yeah, we heard you on Ruby's channel last night.
Oh yeah, I felt kind of bad because I guess that wasn't the topic, but I don't know.
That's okay.
Contribution. It's okay.
That happened to me. I just blurted out one day when I was with Joe and Fran. It was just told my life story because I was in so much pain. It just had to come out, and it was just like, this was so inappropriate, and this was not the topic. So I did it too.
Yeah,
I don't think it's inappropriate.
I don't feel it was now.
It's cool to go off topic. That's what makes a show to kind of diverse from it a little bit.
Yeah, I felt it then, but I don't. Looking back now, that was just a part of my waking up process.
Look at
the grief and the pain.
Look at it this way. It's a sign of faith. It's a sign of faith to seek help when you need it. knowing that you'll receive it. That's a sign of faith. And those that love you will listen.
So welcome, E.
Thanks. I don't know what to say. I'm just like under my covers.
Well, you're staying warm.
You're cold, huh?
Yeah,
it's
it's
even
damn
cold.
cold everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's even cold over here in Florida.
Wow.
Like where I'm at, I'm like by the beach, and I just went outside to get something for my car, and I was like, it's freaking cold. I'm glad I put on my jacket.
We lived in Florida for what, 2 years?
2 years. The
2 years.
first year we lived in Denellen, and it was cold that
We
winter.
saw 18 degrees there.
We were not.
And it's like, what am I doing in Florida at 18 degrees?
Was that Denellen, Joe and Fran?
Denellen.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was
Dang.
ice. There was ice on the ground. It's like, where am I?
Yeah, they all get ice. Yeah. Not snow.
Wow.
So everywhere except San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego.
San Diego's warm today. New
coffee.
Hampshire minus 15 in New Hampshire.
So the topic that we're on, and we don't have to stay on it, but I mean, just to ask you, what about these things? What about these psyops? I mean, are you aware of any of these taking place right now? What do you think?
Like what psyops exactly?
Good question.
Or what do you think is a psyop?
Well, did you see the video?
No, what video?
Okay, you just came on. Okay, it was before this. We showed a video.
Yeah, it's a video that basically it helped us realize that the government uses psychological operations to control and to govern people. And business does the same thing.
And like Watchtower did.
And Watchtower is the master at it.
Yeah.
Everything they say and do is strategically said.
They
are. Like on the news, they'll use like crisis actors.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they did that on 9/11.
Yeah, they did a lot.
That, and it's very controversial to say Sandy Hook, but I still stick to that. But that's just my own personal.
I know. I hear you.
I don't know to believe if it's a psyop or not. It's possible, but because I don't think everything's a psyop, but I think like it's possible it could be. Because I remember like I stumbled upon a channel called the Infinite Plane Society, and he was like talking about psyops, and like when I first saw it for the first time, I was like, what? Like really? They really do this? Like, and then they'll call these people like crazy conspiracy theorists.
Of course.
Right.
Well, the CIA came up with that.
It's actually been a tactic of people's enemies for a long time to slander and spread disinformation of your enemy. If you can call a person crazy, it's the ultimate dismissive. Well, don't listen to them; they're crazy. You know, even if it isn't proven in the doctor's office.
And see, the biggest danger in all this, and you're bringing out this problem that we have. I can't prove what I think I see. I can't prove it. And you can't prove it. And Eric can't prove it. And so here we are among each other. And, well, I can't prove what I think and say, but I feel from it. And we have to be careful that doesn't divide people, because it easily divides people. Easily.
That just happened to me.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
That's their goal. Their goal is to divide people who are familiar with each other.
But sometimes you have to go with your gut too. Like sometimes I'll be watching something and not to get into a lot of different topics, but with 9/11, I watched that and I said, there's something not right with this.
Oh,
and I feel the same way about that bridge in Maryland that went down. I thought, there's something not right with this.
It was too easy.
Yeah, we had just been traveling through Maryland,
Yeah.
and we may have gone over that bridge, and then we heard that it went down, so that was interesting.
It was too easy.
Yeah.
Too easy.
Yeah.
So that's where your gut feeling sometimes comes into play too. And then you can start seeking out information to see if your gut feeling has any merit.
Yeah.
Every time something major happens now, the first thing I do is look at the small stuff that's going on.
Right.
Because I'm sitting there going, okay, so what diversion is this for?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. Because that's exactly the way they work. If if there's something big that they're throwing in our face, there's something going on behind that they don't want us to know about.
Yeah.
The guys behind the curtain hate people like all of us here because we're free thinkers, and instead of accepting what they tell us as facts, we grab the facts together and figure it out for ourselves. They hate critical thinkers, whether it's a religious or political cult.
I've noticed.
And it's becoming more common too because there's so many people that are doing that. See, and then I'll say it again. They know that we know they know.
And
That's so funny, Joe.
Exactly.
They do. I agree. They know that we know they know.
Yeah.
There's also phrases as you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the more you know nothing.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Well, see, look, and this is the difference between dogs and humans. We're the people learn, and as soon as we start to say, I know, they gotcha. They gotcha. Because now you're going to act on what you know, and even if it's not true. So you have to be very careful. They say knowing is the enemy of learning.
Oh, yeah.
Because once you know, you're going to stop learning.
Or belief. Belief is also the enemy of learning.
Belief too. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Our
Our strength is in learning and being open and continuing to, take in information.
Yeah, because you might think you know something, but then later on you get new light.
Oh yeah.
And so now what you think you know, you realize, well, maybe you didn't know all of it at least.
Or maybe that you put the hand up and say, no, I know enough. I don't want to hear anymore.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what makes us different. I was just going to say that's what makes us different. I think Dinah or somebody mentioned it because when we first started thinking that maybe the Watchtower isn't the truth, and we had that cognitive dissonance, it plays on our mind. And we say, well, no, and you kind of put it out of your mind, but you have all these things that eventually you can't put them out of your mind. You say, no, wait a minute, I got to look into this. I've got to see. And that's what makes us different than the ones that stay in. They don't want to see. They put the blinders up. They don't want to see.
I think they say it's a comfort. They're comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's no reason for them to change.
That's right. Well, it's not only it's a comfort, but also it avoids risk, because there's risk in leaving that information and treading unknown territory. It truly
It's
is a
fear.
risk.
It's fear of the unknown. People are
It-
afraid of what they don't know, and they're afraid of what they don't understand, and that's when people get violent and evil.
Yeah.
Evil comes out when there's lack of education and knowledge.
Yeah. And this is where everyone has the opportunity to develop whatever personality or characteristics we want to in the face of all that. In other words, well, let's see, I'm going to go forward. I believe certain things certain ways. But I'm going to be open-minded. I'm going to keep an open mind because I found that things, there's always new information that comes out and it challenges my understanding. And it's like, it's just real. It does. Whereas someone else says, no, I made my mind up and that's it. I don't want to hear any more about it. And that's exactly what happens in the Watchtower. Because people know if they keep an open mind, they end up being shunned. And they lose. They lose family. They lose friends. They lose. They know how to keep people trapped. They know.
My favorite movie of all time growing up in was Star Wars, the original trilogy. And it wasn't until I was in my late 30s that I finally got what Yoda was saying when he said that fear is the path to the dark side because fear leads to anger and anger leads to hate and hate leads to suffering. I don't mean to sound like a nerd, but actually, if you really do connect it all together, that's exactly where it starts from. It's the fear of death, which so many Jehovah's Witnesses are afraid of, and the fact that they could have a chance of living immortal, like never dying. And that unhealthy grip of a fantasy that it's just it's toxic.
Fear is the path to the dark side.
Eric, stick around. Yep. Stick around because the next video is dealing exactly with what you're speaking.
Cool. Maybe we can show it now. The end of it.
Yeah, I'll mute myself.
I'm going to give another saying. It says the cave we fear to enter holds the treasure that we seek.
Mm.
So before I start the video for you guys, you wanted to start at the 37-minute mark?
Yes, because
it's kind of long, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of long.
Okay.
So we figured to pick up at the name of it is What Really Happens After Your Last Breath.
Okay, I'm gonna start it now.
Thank you, Ruby.
Thanks, Ruby.
With our true selves brings more freedom. This creates an upward spiral. Better choices lead to more options, which enable even better choices. Some people worry about making wrong choices, but often indecision causes more problems than imperfect decisions. Taking action, learning from results, and adjusting course works better than waiting for perfect certainty. Modern life offers more choices than ever before. Career options, living arrangements, lifestyle possibilities, the range can feel overwhelming. Breaking big decisions into smaller steps makes them more manageable. Your past choices brought you to this moment, but they don't control your future. Each new choice is a chance to change direction. This simple truth holds great power for personal growth and positive change. The ability to choose gives life meaning. Rather than being passive observers, we actively create our experience through countless daily decisions. This creative
IXL is helping 15 million
both responsibility and opportunity. Choice leads to change, and change often brings uncertainty. But staying stuck in familiar patterns just because they feel safe limits our potential. Growth requires stepping into the unknown sometimes. Today's choices shape tomorrow's reality. By making conscious decisions aligned with our deepest values, we create a life that reflects who we truly are. This authentic expression brings natural liberation. Living with this knowledge changes everything about how we act each day. Let's look at real ways to put these ideas into practice. Start by paying attention to your daily choices. Notice how many times you react without thinking versus making clear decisions. These small moments add up, from what you eat for breakfast to how you speak to others. Take 5 minutes every morning to set your focus. Ask yourself what matters most to you. This isn't about making big plans. but about being clear on your values. When you know what's important, decisions become simpler. Your actions create ripples. Think about how treating someone with kindness might affect their whole day, or how taking care of your health now shapes your future. Every choice builds on the last one. Stop blaming outside forces for your situation. Yes, life throws challenges at us, but we choose how to face them. Instead of saying, I have to, or I can't, try saying, I choose to, or I don't want to. This small shift in words shows you where your power really is. Look at your habits. Which ones help you grow? Which ones hold you back? Change doesn't need to be big. Start with 5 minutes of something better. Maybe it's reading instead of scrolling on your phone, or taking a short walk instead of another coffee. Pay attention to fear. Notice when it stops you from living fully. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. These are normal, but they shouldn't control you. Take small steps outside your comfort zone daily. Build stronger connections with others. Share your real thoughts and feelings. Listen deeply when others speak. Ask questions that matter. Show up for people when they need support. These connections give life meaning. Take care of your body. It's the only one you have for this life. Eat food that makes you feel good. Move in ways that bring you joy. Rest when you need to. Your physical health affects everything else. Learn something new often. Read books that challenge your thinking. Talk to people who see things differently. Try new experiences. Growth happens when we push past what we know. Face problems directly. Running away only makes them bigger. Break big challenges into smaller steps. Ask for help when you need it. Every problem solved makes you stronger. Give back to others. Use your skills to help someone else. Share what you've learned. Volunteer your time. Making life better for others makes your own life richer. Look at money differently. See it as a tool, not a goal. Use it to create the life you want, not to impress others. Save some for later, but don't forget to live now. Make peace with the past. You can't change what happened, but you can choose how it affects you now. Learn from mistakes. Forgive yourself and others. Focus on what you can do today. Think about your legacy, not just what you'll leave behind, but how you live right now. Your actions tell your story. Make it one worth telling. Practice gratitude daily. Notice good things, big and small. Thank the people who help you. Appreciate what works well in your life. This builds resilience for harder times. Set boundaries with respect. Say no to things that drain you. Make time for what matters most. Protect your energy and space. Live with less judgment of yourself and others. Everyone's fighting their own battles. Choose compassion over criticism. Take responsibility for your emotions. Other people don't make you feel anything. You choose your reactions. Learn to pause before responding. Create quiet time daily. Turn off notifications. Sit in silence. Let your mind rest. Solutions often come in these calm moments. Act with purpose. Don't just react to life. Create it. Choose your direction.
Don't forget
Steps
to
that
get that
match your
turbo
values.
tax.
These practices might seem simple, but they change lives when used daily. Start with one that speaks to you. Add others as you grow stronger. Your choices shape everything. Choose well. Remember that change takes time. Be patient with yourself. Small steps forward still move you ahead. What matters is starting now and keeping going. Your life is happening right now. Not tomorrow, not someday. Today. Each moment brings a new choice. Make ones that bring you peace, growth, and joy. Life and death touch every one of us. Through this discussion, we've looked at what science tells us, what different beliefs say, and how we can use this knowledge to live better lives right now. But knowing these things isn't enough. We need to act on them. Start today by taking small steps. Talk with your loved ones about what matters most to you. Write down your thoughts about life's big questions. Make time to explore your own beliefs about what happens after death. Don't wait for the right moment to start these conversations. They might feel uncomfortable at first, but they bring us closer together and help us appreciate the time we have. Take what you've learned here and share it with others. Your experiences and thoughts can help someone else who's trying to make sense of these topics. Join online groups or local communities where people discuss life, death, and what might come after. Be open to changing your views as you learn more. No one has all the answers, and that's okay. What matters is staying curious and respectful of different perspectives. Make the most of your time here. Call that friend you've been meaning to reach out to. Start that project you've been putting off. Tell people what they mean to you. These actions matter more than any theory about the afterlife. Look for ways to leave positive marks on the world, big or small. Plant a tree. Help a neighbor. Teach someone a skill. Write down your family stories. These ripples continue long after we're gone. Set aside time regularly to think about what gives your life meaning. It doesn't need to be long. Even 5 minutes of quiet reflection can make a difference. Create something that represents your thoughts about life and death. It could be a letter, a piece of art, or a simple journal entry. Making something helps us process these big ideas. Build connections with people who support your growth. Find mentors who've walked similar paths. Be a mentor to others who are just starting to ask these questions. Take care of your physical and mental health. A clear mind helps us face life's challenges and think about deeper questions. Exercise, eat well, get enough sleep, and make time for activities that bring you joy. Start a tradition that helps you mark life's passages. Light a candle on special days. Visit meaningful places. Create rituals that give structure to how you think about life and death. Keep learning from different sources. Read books from various cultures. Listen to people whose beliefs differ from yours. Watch documentaries about how others approach these topics. Put your affairs in order, not from fear, but from care for those you love. Make your wishes known. Organize important documents. Leave notes for your family about things that matter to you. Focus on building a legacy of kindness and wisdom. Small acts of goodness add up over time. Help others when you can. Share what you know. Listen when others need to talk. Take action now. Don't let these ideas just sit in your mind. Pick one thing you can do today to live more fully or prepare more thoughtfully for whatever comes next. Stay connected to nature. Spend time outdoors. Watch the seasons change. Let the natural cycle of life remind you that change is normal and necessary. Make peace with uncertainty. We don't need perfect answers to live good lives. Focus on what you can do with the time you have. Start today. Pick something from what you've learned and put it into practice. Share your thoughts with someone close to you. Begin a project that adds meaning to your life. The time to act is now. Use what you've learned to live more fully, love more deeply, and face the future with courage and hope. Your life matters. Your choices matter. Your actions matter. Start making positive changes today, no matter how small they might seem. Take the first step now. Whether it's writing down your thoughts, calling a loved one, or making a plan for your future, begin today. The best time to start living more meaningfully is right now. Ask yourself this: can you afford to go another day without knowing the truth? The journey your soul takes isn't just fascinating, it's life-changing. I love creating these videos for you. Sharing these secrets feels like my purpose. So if you find value in what we explore here, hit subscribe and turn on notifications to stay connected.
Okay. Thank you, Ruby.
Yeah, thanks, Ruby.
And the if anyone wants that channel, it's in the chat. Culty put it in the chat.
Tremendous other videos too there.
Yeah, I love that video.
I couldn't help being struck at the thought that what Watchtower, as well as governments do, is they are literally programming humans. We're being programmed. And they want people to make the conversion from a natural human, which we are, to a programmed human. Jehovah's Witnesses are programmed humans. They're programmed humans. Well, and so are Republicans, and so are Democrats, and so are socialists, and so are thises, and so are that's, and so are these, and so they're programmed humans. They want programmed humans. But there are people now that are realizing, you know what? I'm a natural human, and I'm going to enforce my right to be a natural human. And that's a challenge, because all the forces right now are against you and against us being that. But that's okay, because once we identify it, it makes it a little more possible.
Well, history shows us that human behavior is studied. You know, if you do this to a person, what reaction will you get? And people were tortured to gain this information, and they use it.
Oh yeah,
We just don't see it because they know the backstory. We don't. Until you deep dive deep. I can't talk into what's really going on underneath the surface.
Yeah. You will suffer. We will suffer for being a natural human.
Want to say hi to Apasta Dude. I see you got on.
I'm still getting a little bit choppy, but I can hear a little better. And that's really, it's bad to be butting into a conversation when you're getting chopped up stuff.
No,
can you guys hear me?
Good. We can hear you good.
Yes.
You come right in.
Well, you know, I was following it earlier. Fran was talking about how, well, let me try to get where I was. In that scripture in Deuteronomy where it says, how can you tell a true prophet from a false prophet? We all get that. It's real simple to the point. But after it makes the point, when it doesn't come true, it didn't come from the true God, whoever that may be. And then it says, do not fear that prophet.
Right.
Which is an interesting, a very effective take, because what if false prophets control you with? Yeah. Think of all the fear triggers you have when you figure this stuff out. I had them.
Yep.
And then I was talking to the wife today, and we came in before 75. So you're young. We were coming out of a lot of turbulence, both of us. And so then when you're sizing things up and you see there's a timeline here, so you don't, the reason I didn't quit studying was because I had to sort that out. So it was an effective tool for them to issue the false prophecy of 75. And of course, it's very convenient to just make it disappear by saying it's all in your head. Ultimate gaslighting. So that was a piece of it. And then, and so the fear buttons are in all of us, wherever you came in, Armageddon, imminent, etc. I would say this, I was watching a video today with self-aware NPC. That young lady, and she just sounds young to me. Everybody's young compared to me, so.
I know.
But she was so great. That video, I think it was a re-upload. She's now under the name Janet Doe, not Jane Doe.
Oh,
Janet Doe.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been watching her.
And she,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm sorry if I didn't hear you right. But anyway, what I want to say about the one video, I think she re-uploaded it, is that she's telling a story of how she woke up. So look under whatever the thumbnail is, it's how she woke up. And she never looked into any apostate, nothing. She actually, and she's not the first one I've heard this, but I think that former elder pioneer that has over 1 million views, that well, presented story, it's a male, the same story. You trying to streamline your faith, right? And then they tell you study, pray, keep going to meetings, etc., go out and service. So she decided to get out in the ministry as a shy person. I'm going to get out in the ministry, but I'm going to know every part of the magazine so thoroughly that it'll help me to be more spontaneous and fluent and be able to plug the person into good points in the magazines. So the first magazine she studied was the one that was a Watchtower in 2015 that said How Life Began, I think is the title of it. It's got all the universal stars in the front and How Life Began. And the first thing she started bumping into was that misquote by the biology from that guy, Professor Singh, I think his name was, and from Canada. And she researched that, and then the rest of the story you can just listen to. And it's no interest in apostate stuff. She wasn't influenced by that. Everything that threw her out, and it was traumatic. At the very end of the video, she's expressing how much empathy she has for anybody that goes through this. And it's those fear triggers. I'm sure everybody knows what's up with that. And by the way, I forgot something important. Eric, I've been thinking about you. I hope you're doing all right. So,
I appreciate that. Thank you, brother. I do.
You bet. So anyway, that's my pitch. I'm not hearing everything well, so please bear with me.
Apostle dude, thank you. We heard it, and I appreciate that. Thank you for bringing that out. And there's an antidote for all this. There's an antidote to all this fear. And
I'm so sorry, Joe.
You can't hear so good?
I'll be able to follow things better. I'm gonna have to leave. I'm so sorry.
Is it a vaccine, Joe?
Anyway.
Is it free with your insurance? Is it a vaccine?
I'm going to have to pass over that one.
I don't know. I can't answer because I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The
point is there's an antidote to the fear, and that's love. Love throws fear aside. And that's an individually developed trait that no one can stop us from developing. No one. We possess that ability. And that's one of the most powerful things we'll ever develop.
And where do you find that? Is that covered by your insurance?
No, yeah, insurance. That's life insurance. That's what that is.
That's like what people are after is love. And it's just like because there's so much,
Janet, Joe. Yeah, there you go.
It's two things. It's love and having a big set of balls. I'm sorry to put it so frankly, but we all did, right? Joe and Fran said, "Hey, I'm showing my cojones metaphorically, and I'm going to reject this religion for its child sex abuse protocols and what you guys do, how you're hiding it and stuff." And we all had our breaking points, and it was a set. I didn't realize how much. I think I don't know if all of us really realized how much bad kickback we were going to get back from our family members, never mind the congregation, because I didn't. I guess I was naive. Maybe Joe and Fran, maybe you guys knew what you were in for. I didn't.
Oh yeah, we were finding out real fast.
Yeah, well, I guess we all learned real fast. Yeah, but I didn't. I thought that I was able to talk to some sensible people, but no, it was like nope.
No, not in our family either. No.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, what we realized is that seeing as we wasted 36 years, and now with fewer years left, we're 72 and plus. We'll be 73.
73 in March.
Holy
coming
smokes.
up.
Well, the point is, the least we ought to do is exercise some courage before we die.
Yeah.
That's the very least we ought to do. Otherwise, I'll never be able to say we did. It's.
If you hadn't heard last week's program, we did have an interview on our local radio station, and we're trying
I
to
saw
get.
that. That was amazing, guys.
I saw it too. That was really awesome.
Thank you. Well, we're trying to get Bill Keeler, the host of WIBX, we're trying to get him to come on our program on Wednesday. So I've invited him twice, and both times he had something, and he keeps apologizing.
Yeah, no,
but he will come
he's
on.
more and more engaged. He
So
really is.
when he comes on, we hope that the audience will have some questions for him or some comments, because he's very aware of what the Jehovah's Witnesses are doing. And also interesting, we had a state trooper come to our place today because someone next door had a e-bike stolen. Anyway, he came in just to do the regular questioning.
We invited him in. He was
Yeah.
going to be outside. I said, "Come on in."
Yeah, you were at the door. So anyway, after he got all finished getting our information, and we, whether or not we saw someone or not, we brought out our postcard, and I said, by the way, we used to be Jehovah's Witnesses. And he looked at it and he goes, "Oh, I'm familiar with this." Because we mentioned about suicide, about depression, about the shunning. He says, "Yes, I'm familiar with this." So he was very nice.
Great guy.
And he said, "Keep up the good work. You're doing a good work." And we told him we're here as a support. If you hear of anyone, he says, "I definitely will." And by the way, I went to school with his aunts. When I saw his name, I said, "Oh, do you know so-and-so?" And he said, "Yeah, that's my aunt." So right away we had a connection. So you just never know who's going to, walk into our lives, and we can unwitness, but it's really important that people know what Jehovah's Witnesses are really like. So.
And I have to say, throughout this, if you open your mouth, your life is going to open up. It really is, in ways that you really can't imagine. Now, maybe some of it's not quite as attractive as you would like, but in other ways, it will make you who you are, and you'll be glad you did.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
And it's not about us. We're not looking for any praise or glory. But the following day, this goes to show that people are listening. Joe and I, we were at BJ's. I may have told this last week, but we're going down the aisle, and another man is coming towards us, and he said, "Hi," and we didn't recognize him. And he said, "I saw you on Bill Keeler's show, and I really appreciate what you're standing up for." He's Catholic, but he went out of his way to thank us, and more people should do that, and not be afraid to speak out. So we don't know what's going to come about from this, but we do know that people are listening, and even PMEs are listening. So PMOs, everyone.
Before I was gonna go, but before I go, I wanted to know if y'all wanted to hear my latest poem that is not posted yet.
Let's hear it. Yes.
There was an ExJWF's witness on one of the groups on Facebook that posted a little bit about her story, and she had a photo of a child in a bottle, and it would just, I don't know. So I was like, it inspired me, and I needed to write a poem. So I wrote a poem.
We'd like to hear it.
Okay. Give me a second, because I'm a nervous speaker.
Take a deep breath.
Okay. It's called Trapped in a Jar. A childhood closely confined, a world unseen. A jar of isolation, a heart serene. Watching life unfold, unable to partake. A transparent barrier, a soul at stake. Pity, remorse, and shame, a constant refrain. A longing to belong, to cut off the strain. Holidays and parties, a bittersweet pain, a reminder of joy forever in vain. To endure a parent's love, a misguided light, an entire childhood lost in the dark of night. The secret scars remain, a lingering ache, a patched heart that's healing, a soul that's awake. We rise up beyond, breaking free from their hold. We shatter the jar, our true spirits unfold. We gain confidence, we find strength and our way. We persist to rise to a brighter new day. The media's voice, a hidden truth unsealed. A community found, a story revealed. No longer shadowed alone, we share our fright. A bond of understanding, a shining light. May our evil stories end and our hearts mend. May we find happiness and make love our friend. And though the scars remain, may they fade with time as we find and shine our light, our truth, our rhyme.
My God, that's beautiful.
Thank you for sharing that. It is beautiful.
Yeah, and make sure it's open. You share it wider and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really awesome. Thanks for sharing.
You know,
Oh my gosh,
with
but I
that,
shake the whole time. You know, every time I talk, I'm shaking. It's just
No.
still a
that's
thing
your power.
because of my social anxiety.
That's your power. That's your power. That's your power.
Well done. Well done.
Thank
That was great.
You know that's a leading into what
Wonderful.
I was going to bring out, and you nicely
Yes.
brought that out.
Yay!
Like I said,
Break free or die trying. I like it.
Right.
Exactly, because it literally means our survival of ourself. It's the survival of ourself. Otherwise, our self has been, well, locked away.
Mm-hmm.
I heard her pretty good, but
I'm sorry, say again. Well, it's so important. We're going to have to fight for it. Because so many forces are ranged against it. And interestingly, this cup, it happens to come when we first were leaving the organization, before we.
What are you thinking?
It was our parents.
Oh yeah, no, we had already left.
We already left, and the first plans to make on the trip to visit other ExJWs, the reason that we started it was to meet up with this group, Archaics, which was in, I don't know if you can see, Archaics. It was a group of people who were talking about this exact thing, that they were seeking truth, but they realized that they were going to be going against everything that they were taught and everything in the culture, and it wasn't going to be easy. And the people were resonating with each other, and they resonated with us. And so he said, we will meet with them. And we did. Great group of people.
We drove out to Fort Worth,
Texas.
We had to be there April 1st. So we backed up a week and we said, well, we can go to Alabama. And we got to meet Ken Mayo for the first time. We got to meet Sparky Slag. We got to meet Indira and Ken's wife. And then we went on to Tennessee and we got to meet up with a long lost cousin.
Yeah.
She's not really
It's not
related.
a cousin, but it worked.
But it worked. And then we got the privilege of meeting Eric and Desiree.
That's right.
And I am so glad we did. I'll say it all the time, but you know how easily things we could have just passed by and said, well, you know, that's okay. They're over there. We're over here. But we got in touch with Eric and he said, yeah, I think we can make it. And we did. And then we went on and we went all the way to California. But
Thank you, guys. It was great meeting with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
And the point that I'm making that was also in that video is that when we have the time now to do things,
That's it.
we don't know if we're going to have tomorrow.
Nope.
So we need to make the most of every day. It mentioned like writing a letter to someone, calling someone, reading a book instead of maybe just scrolling on your phone. And Dinah just read a beautiful poem to us. So, you know, we each have some gift. We have to discover that gift. And I'm so glad we did. I'm so glad we took that trip.
Oh, yeah. And we still.
And we have more to come. Yep, more trips to make.
Yeah.
Did anyone else find anything in that video helpful?
Well, you can review it again yourself if you'd like, and other videos that he has too. They're very helpful. They're so helpful. Again,
there was one thing he talked about, which was legacy to leave behind, which I'm completely contradicts myself about legacy, because although I think legacy is important, and I do, I can't help but to laugh and smile about how Mike Tyson feels about legacy. And he told a 13-year-old or so girl basically that legacy doesn't matter, and all that matters. He swore at her. He said, I don't give a shit about legacy. All that matters is family and what I leave behind for them, and that's it. Because I can't help it when I'm talking about someone, I have to try to do an impersonation of them. But when he said that, though, it made me laugh, because it really that seems like all that does matter.
Yeah. That's what we leave. We make it, we leave it. Yeah. I think once we realize that we're faced with that, and no one's going to do it for us.
Mm-mm.
And if we don't break off from the control that the society has on us, that we'll never develop it. Our own legacy, who we are. We won't do it. But we will, and we can, and we have enough time. Even if we don't have a lot of time, we have enough time, but no time to waste. No time to waste.
Welcome, Cold Bolt.
Cold Bolt.
Hi. Hello.
I'm absolutely nervous.
Oh.
Well, good for you. We all were.
We were all.
I didn't know what to say. This is just an awesome stream. I'm taking a risk, because it's just like nobody knows my name for this, the thing that I have here. So, hello.
Hi.
I don't know really what to add to it. I'm just Pimo, just trying to figure stuff out.
Well, let me ask you a question, Colbo. What are you struggling at? Can you say you're struggling at what? What are you struggling at?
I think it's just when you have to try to talk to your own mom about it. It's just when it's just moving out,
It's real.
Yeah.
It's real. You're not the only one. You're not the only one in this circumstance. You aren't. You're the one facing it. You're the one facing it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing it.
I know, it's just the little by little, because I would love to, one day come out and talk and have a YouTube channel of my own and just do this type of stuff.
I guess you took the first step.
Yes, you did.
Oh, goodness me.
I'll say it again, and I always like this saying, that the cave we fear to enter holds the prize we seek.
That is so true, because I was just like, I'm just gonna make a cool title for this, and I have this little image that I got from a game that I like, and I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna do it, see what happens. Maybe I get caught, maybe I don't, but it's just like, just take the risk. I got to do it.
Yeah. Well, a measured risk, I'm sure you're thinking about it, and no gain without risk.
Oh, a nice suggestion here from Fixing My Faith. Consider joining our Discord server,
Already on it.
ExJWFriends. Okay, so you're on Discord. That's
Yes,
good.
yes. I am under a different name. I won't say it here, but I'm just under a different name.
Okay, that's good.
This is so cool. I've never been on a live stream before with any, YouTubers or any ExJW YouTubers. So this is just a cool thing.
Wow.
So my own plans for when I, get out is to have. I love to draw, so I want to have my own channel set up, maybe a TikTok, something like that, and then have I like science. I like to do little projects on my own, and like to I have a channel up, but I'm not going to say it yet. But what the name of it is, I don't have my face on any of the stuff because I'm just camera shy. I like to keep my own privacy. Oh, this food. That's me.
I was wondering if our smoke alarm was going off.
1 second. All right. It is dealt with, but I really appreciate the streams, and I have to say I really appreciate you guys. You guys are a magnificent couple. It's incredible what all of you have done for us PMOs. For the ones that are just that have waken up but are just trying to find their own voice in everything. And I didn't think I would do this. So I was just like, I'm just going to hop on. I'm just going to see what actually happens. Because here's the thing. Someone might hear my voice and say, is this you? It's like, I don't know. It's my word against yours. But it's very unlikely. The chances of it is very small.
Yeah,
Because I don't know. It's very small. So it's like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. And because I want to get my voice out there and say, I won't be under this control anymore one day. I know I won't, because if me just doing this proves to myself the indoctrination is wrong about all of it. And I love the fact that the video tonight was so powerful. Also, I would say sorry if I interrupted this whole conversation you guys were having. I just wanted to join in.
No, you're adding to it. You're not interrupting it. You're adding to it.
Cold Bolt, we feel honored that you came on here. This is your first time. And we just want to let you know we love you.
Thank you. I love you guys too. I love all you guys, because this is a very cool community. I'm from Jake, Altworldly, learning from him, learning from that. You guys are just like me. You just woke up, and you're all different individuals. Not all ExJWs are safe. That's another thing that that makes sense, because there are people that I have within the congregations that aren't safe people, that are just just good. Just give them a little smile and just walk away.
Cold Bolt, you're the reason why we're here. And you're going to be drawing others who need to be here.
Yes, and I hope I can, in part of just me waking up is that when I leave, I know that I have some friends in the hall that could wake up from this, because it's just like, I learned, what's his name? He goes by, he's a psychiatrist. He goes by the name of Healthy Gamer GG. I'll send you the link. He goes over cults, and one of them was Jehovah's Witnesses, and someone wrote in there about how to, hey, I'm waking up from a cult. What is there to do? I'll send that to you guys so you guys can link it to other stuff, because it's a very powerful thing from someone that isn't a cult expert or was raised in the cult himself. He actually gets a very technical insights into it, which is nice.
Good.
The difference of waking up now, Cold Bolt, as opposed to 10, 20, 30 years ago when a lot did wake up, is that there's so much information out there now. There's so many videos. There's so many.
Insane.
it's such a wonderful community. And when you get a chance to go to meetups and meet with people in person, you have that instant connection. Everything's ahead of you.
I know. It's just like, well, this is the first step forward. It's just like little by little getting out of the fear. Just like they don't have all that control. The elders, I'm not going to kiss butt to. Cool. It's cool that you came in. I'd caution though, if you're under age 18, you may have to just say, I'm over age 18, so I have a way of getting out. It's just a plan. It's planning and just going like, all right, I just have to follow through.
Work your plan.
Damn be the
Work your plan.
consequences.
Yep.
Oh
yeah.
You know, I ran through a list of concepts, words, called, and they run from. These are two different groups of words. The first group, there's sadness, fear, pain, grief, loss, anger. Those are all things we can express and feel. And then on the other hand, the reactions and what we can do is we can plan, we can risk, we can struggle, we can make achievements, we can get insight, we can draw inspiration and give inspiration, and fulfillment. That's the only way to fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the things that, you know, we have. That's our legacy. See, that's the legacy that we want. And that's, as humans, we can have it. But we have to break away from the program that they put us through.
Mm-hmm.
They made programmed humans. Programmed humans don't do all those good things. They don't do it. And that's where we're breaking the program here and doing
right.
those.
Yeah, from the time that we learned that the truth wasn't the truth, it took us about a year because we were still trying to have connection with our family, our 4 children. And we found out that they were shunning us. So we thought, well, if they're shunning us, what else do we have to lose? And we wanted to go public. And that's why we disassociated 2 years ago. But that's us. Everyone is different. They put our phone number up here, 315-221-0130, and our email is there. Thank you, Culty Talk, for putting that on. Anyone that wants to call us, we are Eastern Standard Time, so, you know, usually any calls after 10 o'clock, we're starting to get sleepy. We've got like a half hour left here if anybody wants to. We didn't, I just was wondering about E. I know you said you're in Florida. Just if you want to, you don't have to, but I was just wondering, how long have you been out?
Well, I was never really like in, like I never got baptized, but like I completely like kind of woke up like in 2020.
Okay, same.
I was just always looking like at videos and what people thought and their experiences and stuff. And that video I really enjoyed it too, because like I'm trying to like my best to become that. And like I felt like I've always had, but like I don't know. Like I struggle with like things I shouldn't do, like addictions or whatever. They're not whatever, but like small things. I remember like I was always like I had to have my room clean because I had to become somebody for somebody. So like I always overthought things and how I came off and stuff.
Yeah.
And like that one, I remember that one thing. It was like it was on video where like the picture like where the person's like in the bathroom and there's different masks. I was like damn, I'm like damn, like sometimes I feel like I put on mask like
We do.
Not that I'm being like, not that I'm not being myself, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I know how to like put on a mask to like get people to like me or something.
These are things that we pick up, socially just to get along. We do.
Yeah, and I just want to be like I think a lot before I say something.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes like I would I just want to say something.
Yeah.
But it's like I've learned to have patience.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and like I started writing down like my thoughts.
Wow.
Like how I view the world, because like I told a friend like it's very complex of what I'm trying to say. So like it kind of like inspired me to like, okay, I'm gonna write down my thoughts. And I don't know, I wanted to share that.
Great idea.
Can I share it?
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
Whoa.
I know it's not like completely true, but like it's like I don't know, it's just there.
It's yours. Let's hear it.
Like to me, like truth is like arbitrary. So like what's true to you?
Oops. Hank, keep trying. I think there's a breakup.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I think we had a problem. I think we lost you, E.
Or they lost us. Can you hear us?
Can anyone
can you
hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
W glitched out. Okay.
W?
It's really
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Go
Yes.
ahead. Try again.
Okay, let me take a breather.
Okay.
My understanding of what I feel.
I think we're breaking up or something.
Yeah, you glitched out again, Evan.
We're still here, E.
Do you have other devices on, E, other than being on this on StreamYard?
Hang in there, E. Keep on trying with what you're doing. If you can hear us, good.
You may have to go
Now
out
we're
and come
losing
back.
others. What's happened here?
W, it's really E. The sound is glitching in now.
Okay, now.
Yeah, it
You
sounds
can hear me
like
now?
you gotta. Yes.
Now, yes.
Okay. It's because I'm like on my phone and I'm trying to go through my notes at the same time. It's not working.
Wow.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah, try again.
We're losing it every time you try.
Yeah, every time he leaves the app, your volume's gonna glitch out.
Oh yeah, okay. Anyways, it
Yeah.
just says that it just says like we entered these worlds, but we forgot who we truly were. And ever since, like, we had good intentions with helping each other, but we were like misled to deception by like a so-called higher power. But like the true higher power like knows this, so it's like infinite patience and like when it like somebody said like they're not ready to like receive truth. I think it's because like our soul is not completely ready to like know these things, because like ignorance is bliss. So like when it's time, it's time. And like that's why like I remember when I was young, I would always like think like, why does anything matter? Like like we're just giving energy to it. If I don't give energy to it, like does it even matter? Like, and I remember like watching movies and like thinking like, do they have like truth in these movies? Like why are they like telling us not to watch certain movies and stuff?
Right.
And like even music, like I don't know, I just always felt like there was a deep message in something. I remember like being in my car and like being in the car when I was little, and just like I had to like, it was like an OCD thing. I had to like say all the letters and
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
remember like license plates. That's just weird. But it's just like I don't know. I've always thought like there's something that I need to know. I don't know what it is, but there's just something I got to know. And I don't know, like I remember like when I was young too, you know, I would act out and be like, what's that called? Just be like, when somebody's like immature and they're like loud and obnoxious, not to other people, just like me and my cousin, and like it'd make me laugh and stuff. But like deep down, I'm like, bro, I'm not really happy. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just,
Yeah.
and also too, this is bad. Like sometimes I'll joke around with people just like to get a reaction, and I'm like, damn, that's not even funny because like people have like emotions and stuff, and I've learned that that's not. I mean, it's not too serious to joke around, but like joking around all the time to people you don't know just to get a reaction, it's not.
Well, the things like this is what you're going to teach yourself when you're quiet. When you're laying in bed in the dark, you're faced with yourself, and you're going to teach yourself from what you've already explained, and you're going to listen, and you are going to listen to yourself. There's a saying that says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. You have to be ready, and you've been making yourself ready. You've been making yourself ready. The next logical thing is that you're learning. You are.
The world is the
You're going,
stage.
and you're going
says,
to.
We love you, Joe and Fran, for being here for some free therapy for all of us.
Helps us.
Yeah, it helps us. You know, when we were in car groups, not all car groups, but sometimes we would really talk like we're talking now. And not everyone. There were certain ones we could talk with, and they would say, this is like therapy. And I mean, that's the way we should be. We should be free.
That was the best time we ever had in that organization.
Yeah, otherwise it's all about gossip and, you know, useless stuff.
Yeah.
So we're glad that you feel that
Oh,
way.
yeah.
And you've got a lot of deep thoughts. Keep writing them down because, like, you know, that's what that video brought out.
Yeah, and you said you like music, and I was going to ask you, and just to throw this out, I listened to Jackson Brown a lot when I was younger. Still do. He said a lot of meaningful things. Jackson Brown. What's that?
Who's Jackson Brown?
Yeah. he goes way back.
If you don't know, you can find out.
Back in the 1900s. I was born in the 1900s.
Yeah, this was back in the 70s.
Yeah,
1970s when we were young. Jackson Brown. He's a songwriter.
He was young. See, he was young.
Yeah.
He was young when he came out.
Yeah, he's still alive. And he's
Oh,
still
really?
singing.
Wow. You know, it's funny. Like growing up, I still love to dance, but like I like this whole like I like kind of like related to like I don't know if past lives are real, but I know like they're past lives.
Yeah.
But like, okay, if I dance to a song or I listen to a song, I'm not that character. I embody that song, but just for that couple of moments. You know what I mean? And like that's what I feel like maybe our past lives where we were these characters for like this past life for like a moment in time, but then like the song is over and now you have a new song to dance to. If that makes any sense.
There's another reality, and that is that we are more than we suppose ourselves to be. We're more. And if you give yourself a chance, you'll discover it all.
Yeah, I just like think what I know is like still like beyond my comprehension and like my imagination.
It is.
So
It is. It is.
So like I've learned to like go from within and still ask these questions.
There's a belief that the belief that everything we need to learn is within us. It's within us, and we receive it from us when we are open to the world around us. So where it comes from, I don't know, but it could come from anywhere, from our past, the past that we're not even aware of.
Yeah, and it's crazy too, because I was thinking like, if I was a Jehovah's Witness and I truly believed this, and I was preaching this, and I said this is the truth, I think I would still feel like the same way, as in, oh, these people are blind and I gotta wake them up. It's like the whole thing of like not existing or going to hell. I just believe there's no growth in that, and that's just based on like fear to control us.
Yeah, it's all
if that makes any sense. Like, and once you once you realize that, like,
yeah,
like fear is like what the heck? Fear is very powerful, but also like faith and courage and what like looking for like the deeper truths in life. So like what I'm trying to say is like fear is very powerful, but it's like so is like faith and hope. Like it should always like overcome that. It shouldn't be opposite.
Don't forget that it says love throws fear aside, and the things that you mentioned too, faith and hope.
Those are power.
That's our human ability, but we got to practice it, and you are.
Yeah, thank you for all your things that you shared with us. Do you mind if we welcome Apostle Babe, and maybe Ruby has something to say?
Oh yeah, sorry guys. I have to head out. I'm gonna I have Shauna backstage. She's gonna wrap up for you guys, but before I leave, I wanted to say the video for me was like we need to start living with intention, and I found that out now. And once I started living my life with intention, literally everything changed. And still that fear of death, and I recently lost my cousin very unexpectedly. It still bothers me, the idea of death and what happens to us, because the JW cult was a whole psyop in itself that held people with the fear of death, which we've heard Eric say earlier. And that's true. So I still have to figure that out, but it's scary. And it feels weird when people die and we don't actually have it figured out. And it's scary. But we need to start living with that intention and telling people that we love them right now, spending time with them now, spending time together now, and not letting those little differences bother us, because we don't know when it's going to be our last. And we don't know what's going to happen afterward, no matter what faith you believe in, or if you're an atheist, it doesn't matter. We don't know what's going to happen. So that doesn't really matter. But what matters is right now. So I'm learning that in real time. So I'm going to let you guys go now. Thank you so much. Love you guys.
Thank you, Ruby. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ruby, for filling in Thank you for filling in and serving us tonight. I appreciate you.
Yes. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Love you. Hello, Apostle Babe.
Hey,
Linda.
all this creativity has inspired me, especially E. He has inspired me because it seems like he wanted to share something that he said it's like not finished or it isn't quite right yet, or he just felt very awkward in it. And I have a tune that I've written long time ago, and it's not finished. But if I could just share a little bit of it, I mean,
please.
I could use some help finishing it.
Yeah,
please.
before you do, can I just, E, if you can,
Something's in the
yeah, can you
background.
just mute yourself? Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay, so it goes like this. I will wipe out every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more. Neither mourning nor outcry, nor pain be anymore. No, 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 no. Falling, falling, it's Babylon the Great. I think that's the chorus part. Get out of her, my people, before you share her fate. For the Lord God Almighty has challenged you. Then I don't have words for the next part. It's kind of a heavy metal, kind of a feel. So I don't share it because it's not like, I don't have it finished. Yeah.
Well, you'll finish
Oh,
it.
you will. You will finish
It's
it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
We come here
Sure.
for inspiration, and we get it, Apasta babe. We get
Yeah,
it.
we do. Thanks for showing up, E. Good to hear from you tonight.
Thank you.
Amazing singing. Love it.
See, this is what I didn't want to miss for being in that organization for so long. I knew there would be many people, many valuable people, and I did not want to miss them. And I truly appreciate you all.
Thankful to have you guys.
Pimo, I'm sorry for interrupting, but San Diego
It's a-
Pimo just said, do you, Culty Talk Linda Carpenter, if he's referring to the Carpenters, Richard and, what's her name, Carpenter? She was like one of my first influences. Karen Carpenter. Yes, that's what it reminds me of. I'm sorry to talk over you. E, go ahead.
No, we were just thinking of the Carpenter.
Like your singing voice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like we all have like special talents that we can share a message out. If that makes sense.
And the things you talked about, like you're into science and you like to draw, you sound like a very creative, person. And I can just imagine lots of people don't show their face and do videos. You can even just do videos by drawing or just having a picture, like how I have a picture up now. You can just have a picture up of, I don't know, a horse, a cow, a space, whatever you like.
True.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out Cold Boat's picture.
It comes from a game called I forget the name, Wizard with a Gun. It's a It's a first person shooter, I think. I know, something like that. It's a little adventure game. I like it. It's entertaining. It can be a little bit too entertaining if I get too addicted to it. So I time myself. If I don't time myself, I will be on there for hours. So yeah, it sometimes happens.
Which one of you was talking about like you had to put on a mask? Because that was when I was listening to this, a recent realization to me. We've been told when we were in the org, like accused of living a double life, meaning, as if when we do something other than watchtower instructions, we're we're doing something that's fake or unauthentic, when in actuality, what the Watchtower expects us to be is our unauthentic. We're supposed to put on this new personality, which is not us, right? And so, but when we do things that do ring true with our authentic self, that's not a double, that's you being authentically you, which you don't get to be within a high control, high demand group. So it's kind of like you're breaking out underneath the cult personality, which is that new personality, which doesn't fit everybody. It's like a one size fits all, right? There's a few people that fit in it, but it's not everybody fits in it, especially not creative people, you know, and people that question and are curious, and, you know, yeah. So that might just be you being your authentic self, wanting to come out more often.
And you know, there's something called our shadow person, the person that we know is there, but we really don't want it to come out. We all possess some shadow, dark shadow person. Everyone does. Everyone does. And so our kindness is that we develop our own other mask, but a mask that's we want to share and want to show in kindness. You know, it's a kindness to others. It helps get along with others, and it's our expression.
It reminds me of the lyrics, speaking of Jackson Brown, about dance.
Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful song.
You know it.
Do the dance that you've been shown by everyone you've ever known, until that dance becomes your very own. It's the way we learn.
Yeah.
I was thinking too, sorry, I've been working on a project while you were talking this evening, and you're on my end, you're coming in really low, so I was having a hard time hearing. That's why I haven't said too much. But I was thinking about the moral values. After we get out, we have to figure out what our own moral values are now, because we were given a set of them. They weren't all bad, but we're not bound by them anymore. So that takes some time to figure yourself out. That's what I'm working on right now, is figuring myself out, discovering new things about myself.
Yeah. Well, you're doing the right thing. You're the most worthy person to figure out.
Yeah, you have to figure out yourself. Nobody else can do that for you.
Yeah. You owe it to yourself. We all owe it to ourselves.
Right.
The society taught us that we were good for nothing slaves. I mean, how horrible is that?
I know.
Horrible. And you know, we actually find, why did we accept that? Well, we shouldn't have accepted it. Now we accept something that's more loving. And I'm glad to be in company with others that are doing that. It killed me to be in company with others that weren't doing that, because I know basically it was self-abuse. We're not only abusing ourselves by going along with that plan, but we were cheating each other. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
You're not doing that.
Maverick said, I hated when people would say in the new system, I will learn a musical instrument. Then they would spend hours in front of the TV while judging me for playing guitar.
I saw that comment too. I'm so glad you read that, because it squashes his authentic self, or her authentic self. I think it's a he. And, you know, and it comes natural to be your gift, whether it's accounting or something creative. You know, we all need each other for certain things, and you get told it gets squashed. And I believe that the organization would squash these talents or gifts that we have so that we would not develop our authentic selves, and that would remain stunted. And then they would direct us towards theocratic things, right? So we would develop as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. That was our identity, rather than I'm so and so, I play guitar, and I this and that and the other, and describe what they're about.
That's right.
It's a shame when that is squandered.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible.
They were looking for slaves. They got slaves. They did. They knew how to get and maintain slaves. And we, for our part, and in fact, I truly believe this, I do, is that this has been, and we're going through a separating. And those that are willing to stay in and want to stay in, I think they're comfortable, or maybe they feel secure, maybe, being slaves. And the ones that are leaving say, no, I'm no slave. I will not be a slave.
There's also, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I hear that again over and over again, like people want to be held hostage or and that could be the case, but I just would like to remind people that we were indoctrinated with thought-stopping cliches. So once we would begin to doubt, our brain says, oh, but that would be spiritual fornication, or, oh, I can't go, where else can I go? Oh, but Jehovah's not okay with that. And so we shelf it, or we stop ourselves from pondering even further within our doubts, within our curiosity, And I do believe that, like what Anna was saying, I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, Annie, how she's talking about discovering these things about herself. To me, that's us truly healing.
Mm-hmm.
When we're developing our own, who we authentically are. That's to me what our healing journey is.
And I find because I'm on that journey, I actually like myself for the first time in my life.
You are pretty cool, I must say.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
Isn't that cool? You like yourself. Man, that's so not non-JW. Because Joe often says, that reminds us that the organization taught us that we're good for nothing slaves.
Right.
Times.
Yeah. And I just read the book Opus Dei for like the third time, because that's how I need to learn. But there's a lot of that, especially with the women not being able to develop, and that they're deceived to be recruited into this group, and then they find out that they're basically there to serve all the men and to keep the place clean and to cook and to clean and to, but they were recruited under deception, which is how all cults recruit. So it's horrible.
Linda?
Yeah, I know of a sister in local congregation, and she's African American, and she's very well educated, had a nice paying job because of it. And the elders in her congregation were pretty threatened by her just because of her status that she had obtained in her workplace. And of course, sometimes in the workplace, women have authority over men. But boy, when you come to Kingdom Hall, you leave that behind. No matter no matter how good of a job you do at work.
Yeah.
When you come to Kingdom Hall, you're in subjection to the men around you.
When we go door to door, we're ministers. But as soon as we walk in the Kingdom Hall, we better not think we're a minister. Of the gentleman, right? Were you going to say something to me, Joe?
Oh, it's just what you were describing. See, we're at the point now where, and I said it before, I'll say it again. We know that they know that we know.
Right.
We all know now. They know. The jig is up.
Mm-hmm.
now
Very
the
true.
ones remaining are the ones who, you know, they want to continue playing the game. They're playing a game. It's a game. They know the rules. They say they want to continue playing by the rules. Or at least that's what they're acting like. Until maybe it gets a little worse for them, then they're going to say, "No, I'm through. I'm through with this game."
Yeah, we don't know what it takes to get somebody to that point of saying, "I'm now done."
Yeah, everybody's got a
This
different
last
point.
straw. Yeah.
Everybody's got a different, different point. So we're
there's a YouTuber. Her name is Beth. She's got blonde hair, long blonde hair, and
you
shunning. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the name.
And the
It's-
shunning.
And
Isn't
the
it?
shunning. I think
And
it
the
is.
shunning.
And
Anyway,
the
she
shunning or
just
stop the shunning? Yeah, John's
Stop
wife.
the shunning. Yeah,
Real
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
blonde.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Linda.
Okay,
Yes.
she did a video exactly on what you're
It's
talking
fabulous.
about, Linda.
Really good.
First,
Okay.
she did it about the men,
Yeah.
what it's like for the men in the organization, and then she did it about the women,
It was brilliant.
and she
Brilliant.
did a really good job. Yeah, thank you for that. Stop
the shunning, I think is what it is, or
the
something
shunning.
similar.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
know we are exposed to so much insight. There's absolutely no excuse for not going forward. It's a wonderful time. On the one hand, on the other hand, it's a very challenging and testy time. But it's wonderful because now we can step out of that horrible game. And
Yeah, we as women were trained that we were created to be the helpmate. So our whole purpose was to support the father, the husband, the brothers in what they say that they're about. Us having a vision, us having a desire was not to be followed, was just not allowed. So then going into a place of having freedom and pursuing something you want as a woman, because to me, being born a girl child in a cult is just horrible. But still, it's a new mindset, and to start moving in that direction can be slow, but still, it's amazing the more you get to move in it. So even if you take small steps as women, and become more confident,
see,
you can keep
step,
going.
Linda, it's a step backward. It's a step backward to where women were the spiritual directors.
How things were in the Watchtower?
No.
Way before.
Way before. No, way before. Before, women were priestesses. Men were not the priests.
Okay.
Women were priestesses.
And they were the healers. This goes way
They were
back.
healers.
Okay,
Linda,
yes,
this goes
that's true.
Way back to the Bronze Age.
And the men basically hijacked it.
That happened even after Jesus' death. I believe that whole going house to house and door to door was Christians on the down low. We're going to meet at so-and-so's place tonight, and then we're going to meet at so-and-so's place tonight, because they were on the down low, right? And the women of the homes were running it. They were, being a hostess and making it all work and setting everything up.
Good.
And then that whole, that's good. When women are not held down, which I'm pretty much convinced that women are held down, because we are incredibly gifted and incredibly motivating and powerful in a good way.
The men are afraid of that, Linda. Men are afraid of that.
What I'm really coming to realize, and it's too bad because
I had an experience.
We do need men. No, please go ahead.
I had an experience when I was still in to show how controlling. I've been cleaning for decades, but amongst other things. But anyways, I showed up at the Kingdom Hall to help clean, right? And I walked in and people were there already cleaning, and I just said, "Well, what hasn't been done yet?" And one sister said, "Well, I don't think that section of the Kingdom Hall has been cleaned, has been vacuumed yet." So I said, "Okay." There was a vacuum cleaner there. I grabbed it and started working. Next thing I know, the vacuum cleaner was unplugged And I turned around, the elder was there who was overseeing things, of course. And he asked me, well, I don't know exactly how the conversation went, but basically asked me kind of what I was doing. And then why didn't I come to him to be assigned to do something? And I said, well, you do realize I've been cleaning for many, many years. Well, but nonetheless, you should go to, I should have come to him to ask him what he wanted me to do. He actually made me stop vacuuming and sent me to do something else.
Oh, brother, because he had to be in control.
Yeah. I rocked away, rolling my eyes. You got to be kidding me.
I'm rolling my eyes too. He unplugged the vacuum cleaner to teach you a lesson in being
Yeah.
submissive.
Oh yeah. He put me. He wanted to put me in my place.
Sure did. That's sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Never forgot that.
I love listening to these experiences. This is so cool. I would just, before, I would just listen into you guys and listen to a lot of like some live streams that Panda or what's the other guy's name? Yeah, forgot the names. Oh, I want to give a small experience of my own. So, my waking up process is kind of interesting. So it was in successions over like 18, where I was starting to. It's like some things aren't making sense here. The Bible doesn't make sense with what's being taught in it, and sometimes I'm seeing contradictions within it. And then going along. Another thing is I don't see any compensation for people within the Watchtower who have disabilities or who are neurodivergent. I have ADHD, a tad bit autistic sort of traits and stuff like that. So it can be hard to focus at the meetings. So it's just like, yes, 2 hours. I want to just die because it is just torture. Because now that I know the lies within it, and it's just like, stop, please, no, gosh, I don't want to do this. Because I just stand at the back and just go like, yep, I'm just gonna stand here and just pretend I'm listening in and just text people, other XJWs that I've met on Reddit and other you guys have given me, which is awesome. Thank you. Okay, onto the story. So over the pandemic, I started to wake up more and more. Like there was things that weren't like I forget what happened. I'm trying to tell a story, but I might be just I don't know. Okay. So the more I start to listen,
things just were not adding up.
Yes. So the more I just started to listen in on like just watching the broadcasts and the governing bodies just talking, and the more insane they started to sound to me. And then I heard Brother Let say, "Little babies, enemies of God," and I'm like, "What? Excuse me? I've never heard that. I've never heard anyone ever say that. What enemies exactly are you talking about there? How much of a threat is a baby to you? It's insane. And it started to make me really question. So I started to allow myself to question more. But I was like, I'm going to do evolution versus creations, that sort of stuff. So I went to atheist channels, so non-XJW sources, and then on top of it, eventually I got around to watching Lloyd Evans' channel for a bit, and that really helped me to wake up because there was certain experiences that, like I think there's one where he interviewed a former Bethelite that was able to, like they were actually dumping toxic stuff into the ground. There's an episode somewhere on his channel. It was out years ago.
Which channel was that, Bald? Which channel was that called?
Lloyd Evans. Did I say his name?
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Pretty big channel at the time over the pandemic too. And now it's like so many other channels that I found where it's like, oh my
Mhm.
goodness, there's this community that's just growing like crazy out here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The craziest part is they can't stop this. None of what the
No.
government. And it's funny to watch the governing body keep shooting themselves in the foot. It's like just watch them just attack themselves.
Well, see, they're going to do we don't have to do anything to take them
Right.
down. We do
Just
not.
don't give them any information. Just let them just keep steamrolling themselves with a big steamroller, because a lot of younger people like me are just dropping like flies out, because it's just like, you guys are full of it. I don't want to be an elder. I saw what elders do, and I've read part of the manual, and I was like shocked. And also see the ARC cases.
Yeah.
And that actually woke me up the most with the predators. I didn't know that there were dangerous people within the very organization that I'm in. That is just mind blowing.
They actually protected them.
Yeah,
Most of us
it's
did
horrible.
not know. Most of us did not know until it was revealed. Until we were on the outside. Most of us were just shocked, because within the organization that is kept hidden.
Yeah.
It's kept under wraps, you know?
Yeah, and then there's this the pedophile database that's on their own email service. I think what's his name? ExJW Caleb had something on it where he went over the like they actually write into the Bethel, like say, hey, don't like write any copies down, don't have anything down. Sadly, some of the brothers are just really old and still do it, and they're able to get, sometimes the police can get their hands on it, which is awesome to watch. When I just see them, and it's like, yes, you're not winning with that one, because that really hurts to see that. That's like, what is going on? Why? Like, I know that the government before went after them about this in the United States, and it's amazing to see other, foreign governments are waking up and actually not giving them their what is it called?
The tax exemption?
Yes, which is something that I learned that was new and part of the waking up of just like, oh, there's tax exemptions. So cults are getting in on this and using that, not actual religions. Yeah, it's just like, I want to leave. They want to get out of this sort of situation where it's like, I'm going to take it slow, going to be smart about it, because it's not something to take lightly, because good chance there won't be help.
Right.
And
it sounds like you're tapped into a few people, though.
Cole, look, there is going to be help, but there's probably not going to be help from who you're looking at for.
Right, my family.
And here's the deeper thinking that sometimes we avoid, that we have to face. We may be seeking love from someone who would not give it.
Right.
And avoiding love from those that we're avoiding. See, unfortunately, that's the bind that PMOs are in.
Yeah.
And I know what that feels like. I would dearly appreciate the love of my children. I'm not going to get it. We're not going to get it. Not at this point, not the way I see it. But yet there are so many that would love me. Should I ignore them? Should I just seek it from those that turn me away? It's something each of us has to face. It really is.
Yeah, it's another wild thing to wake up to is the conditioning, how powerful the brain is. Like, just the fact that, kids can shun their parents and vice versa, and it's like, that's so like what we say about ourselves, what the organization has taught us is to lie to ourselves, saying we can't take care of ourselves. You need us, like this abusive type of behavior. It's, I come from my own background. I do have an abusive stepfather. He's not a witness. They're divorced, so I don't have to deal with him. But
That's good.
It reminds me like, wow, I'm in this type of abusive environment. They gaslight, they manipulate. It's
Very similar.
not fun. And I shouldn't have this fear of talking to you guys. There shouldn't be a fear there, because you're people, you're human. You're not some crazy evil individuals. Because the funny thing is, as a kid, I never really understood apostates. You know, you hear about them, but I just never understood them. And now I understand them. And it's like, okay, you're just people that question the organization. That's simply it. You're not
And
possessed.
keep in mind that no one can have authority over you if you do not recognize their proclaimed authority. If you just don't recognize it, they have no authority. You've just taken it right away from them.
Right, because it's kind of like the elders. I recognize, like, wait a minute, these guys are
Right.
just no one. Nobody.
I just feel they have no say. They can talk to me all they want. They can do whatever they want to. It doesn't affect me. They have no control over me anymore. They have no authority over me. Who are they?
Mm-hmm. Because when it's like when you're just like the final part of just leaving, and I'm just like, I don't have to answer to anyone. I don't have to
Right,
give a
right.
reason why I'm leaving. It's just like, yep, I'm just leaving. Bye. That's
Are
it.
you the one that said that you were not baptized?
I am baptized, so it's going to be a trial and a half to.
So how old were you when you got baptized?
I was 16, so it's been my
Minors,
entire life.
okay, so
I was
minors
born in.
can't make contracts. It's illegal for people to make.
I know
contracts.
it's insane.
Minors,
It's like I didn't understand at 16. Like I believed in this fully up to when I
Me
was
too.
20.
Me
I
too.
started to question even more when I was 20. Like just I felt empty. I felt like I was going nowhere in my life. There were, the elders didn't really look. I had, issues with talking with people, trust issues, stuff like that from my past dealing with my abusive stepfather. And it's just one of the things where now I'm starting to trust people more, starting to come out and just say my truth, because it's like it feels amazing just to do this.
Good for you.
Just to have a voice, like finally trying to like, okay, I'm gonna make a stand. I'm not gonna go to the meetings. If my mom isn't I know this is crazy because I'm 26 now, going on 27. I know this is my mom's house. I respect her rules. I respect her. Like it's like my mom sometimes tells me like, you gotta love Jehovah. And I'm like to myself, I love you more than anything. Jehovah's like, that's something else for me to deal. Like spirituality can be a personal thing. Oh, well then there's a whole different thing to learn right there. There's so much that I just don't know just coming out of this, where it's just like focusing on right now. I'm putting applications in for another job of sorts. I do have a seasonal job, but I'm just trying to save up money, making sure I'm financially stable, making sure that, okay, I can have a roommate. Will I trust this roommate? How will this, go? So I'm just trying to, it's a continuous process for me.
Yeah.
Good job.
And I understand that whole respecting your mom. It's a very familiar thing to hear. As long as you're under my roof, you have to go to meetings. That happens all the time, including with adults, and their rules, their house. But
yeah, their rules, their house.
Article 18, which is the freedom of religion, which the organization goes to court all the time demanding their freedom of religion, which again is Article 18. It gives you permission to change your religion or your belief.
So they're just breaking the law then.
You have a human right. It's not a law, it's a human right.
It's a human right. Oh, okay.
And to find the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is at the United Nations.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
So
well, that's
I'm wanting you to remember from the UN, which you're supposed to be scared crapless about, that's where your human rights are. All 30 of them. But 18 is the one that I want you to really dive into first. So,
all right. So I'll keep note of that. So write that down somewhere.
So that's even something, if you get really thrown in, pressured into a corner, saying that to an elder, I don't know what consequence you'll get, but still, I don't believe that they are entitled to hold you to a contract that was only one way.
Right.
Contracts are a two-way thing. What did they agree to fulfill for us?
Mhm.
Well, from what I gather, we're supposed to obey and then be blessed, right?
Mhm.
No, it was all one way. It was
Yeah,
all one
but
way.
that's not
There-
how a real contract works.
No,
Right,
no,
because
it was an offer that we accepted.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was in the
There-
ripe old age of 10 when I got baptized, so
goodness.
you know, I'm not being held by anything because I was much too young to even know what I was doing.
That's right.
So
A young age.
I can tell them what they can do with that contract.
You know, the things we go through, sometimes we forget that time is passing. And cold, there's something to think about. You might ask yourself, what point do I want to be before I declare my independence, that I respect myself for?
Mhm.
How old do I want to be?
Right, because
you know, otherwise time passes. Time
true.
passes.
I've watched that with the pandemic, where it's like, wait a minute, I'm 26 now, and the pandemic was what 3 years ago, I think. So it's been that long, and it's like, okay, so yeah, I do need to make my moves and get going, so that I don't waste it. Because I think at 16, I think something in my head went, you know what? I don't see the paradise coming. I'm getting a tad older. You know, my grandparents are getting older, and where is this promised land? You know, stuff like that. So I said, you know, by 30, if I don't see it, I'm going to leave. And it's like, holy cow,
There you
I'm
go.
26 and I'm
There
getting
you
close
go.
to 30.
Perfect.
And so it's like, I'm going to leave that promise to my younger self, where it's like, you know what, I'm going to do this. And there's a lot of, I'm working. So I'm also, for the last, I think, since last August, or September, something like that, I was working with a ExJW therapist called Lisa. She's amazing. She has a lovely British accent.
You found an ex-Jehovah's Witness therapist?
Yes.
That's amazing. That's like
I just typed it in because I was doing
please
months.
advertise her.
Yeah,
Please advertise her.
I will. I'll put. I might just put her link in the description, but not the description, the chat, or just give
Comment
Cole
section.
comment section.
Yeah, or you know,
So she
that's
is
just such a rare thing.
Yes. She is. I just have to say she's amazing for what she does. She's professional. She has a wonderful personality. And through all the months just doing that. Oh, I forgot to say what I was doing before. So I was in a program called STEP that helps people with disabilities that they can do stuff like just in the community, stuff like that. And so through that process, I first went to I'm just gonna say what I'm not worldly, but just a regular therapist, and I recognized that they didn't have the stuff that I was looking for. I was with her for a good amount of months, and it wasn't working out with me, but it was a progress in different ways. But where I saw like real, like good progress is when I was dealing with the ExJW therapist, and she, gave me perspective on like what I'm going through, understood all of it, like you guys are right now. This is therapy for me, just talking it out. Also, I want to thank Fixing My Faith. You have an awesome channel, man. Love this guy.
Vern's awesome. And have you seen him dance?
Oh no, I haven't seen him dance yet. I got to see
Man
that.
can dance. The man can dance.
Yes, he can.
Awesome.
Yep.
Does he dance with the goats though? Does he dance with them?
With goats?
He has a farm. Doesn't he have a
No.
farm that I've seen?
Oh,
Yes.
that's right. They sold the farm.
Oh, that's goat like
Let's go like
personality.
personality.
Okay. Oh, okay.
They could get together.
Yep.
They could get together.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No,
I'm going to
goats.
let you guys go, Joe and Fran, because it's already over that 3-hour mark.
Oh,
and
yes.
thank you for letting me come on. And
Well, thank you for coming on, Linda.
Same here. Same here.
You're
I
welcome.
love you all.
And you're welcome to show up on the show I have on Saturday nights, which is a live show. I start off with a subject, and then I let the conversation go to whatever we want to talk about.
So,
and it starts at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because I'm in
Yes.
Southern California.
Yeah.
And it's on my channel that's called Acosta Babe Linda James.
Okay,
And
thank
it's
you.
We're
on
gonna
the
make
live section. Yeah.
And we'll make sure we take naps before.
Yes. Or catch it the next day. Yeah.
You guys are not that old. You guys got this.
It's so good to meet you guys.
Love you,
Love you,
Linda.
Linda. Thank
Love
you
you.
for
Love you
singing.
too.
Yep. Yes.
You're welcome. Thanks for letting me.
Finish the song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Night, Linda.
See you guys later. Thank you.
Thank you. Come again.
I will.
Okay.
Bye.
You're
Goodbye.
doing so well. Annie, thank you for keeping us company.
Yep.
And
I don't know why tonight you're very low.
you think it's your? Do you have your?
I don't know. I got it up all the way, but
Have we been low?
Sean, we've been low.
A little low, maybe, but very clear. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Must be
I think it's. Yeah, I think it's just closeness to the microphone, so it's all good.
Okay. We'll keep it
hey,
real
tell
close.
Vern we asked about him. Wish him
Oh,
wish him the best.
Yeah, will do for sure. So we're wrapping now. We're good.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you
So
guys
much,
very
Sean.
much for
Thank
hosting
you.
tonight.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
moderators. Thanks again to Ruby for starting us off.
Yes.
Have a great week, everybody. See you later.
too.
Bye.
Good night,
you.
Anna. Yeah.
In making friends.
I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you